Rob Van Dam and Sabu have been busted. They were driving from a ECW house show on Sunday night, and they happened to be driving in a apparently rather well-known speed trap. They weren't aware of this, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they may have been smoking a little herb in the car, because according to the police, the officers, when they pulled them over, smelled something in the vehicle.
Yes.
So the officers
investigated
this situation, and
they found a clue.
They found several clues, actually. They found a whole bunch of stuff from Mr. Rob Van Dam, including some marijuana, 18 grams, 5 Vicodin, which are prescription pain pills, as some of you are aware. I actually had to look up what Vicodin meant in the Yahoo Medical Dictionary.
I see.
And Mr. Sabu had drug paraphernalia and 9 pills which were unidentifiable.
Think about that.
But assumed, actually known to be controlled substances. I'm not sure how they were unidentifiable.
And yet known to be controlled substances.
Sure.
That does not make sense. But
perhaps I just picture them having the skull and crossbones on them. And the officers were like, that's a clue. These things are not legal. So, suffice to say, they got in trouble.
Yes.
They were pulled in. They posted bail. They were, I guess, they went home. Actually, they went to Raw's where they went. And they had a big meeting on Monday afternoon. They met with John Laurinaitis, the head of talent relations. I can only imagine that meeting.
What that speech must have been like.
Rob Van Dam, Sabu, and John Laurinaitis together in a room discussing life and drug use. So, the gist of the story, kids, is that there is a hearing scheduled. It was originally scheduled for Thursday, but it has since been changed, and we don't know when the new scheduled date is going to be. But the guys are going to go before Judge Mathis or whoever and state their case, and we'll see what happens. But WWE announced they were doing their own internal investigation, and until the results of this investigation come in, the men will just continue to work as scheduled, and with some changes, obviously, because
there's a slight change in planning, but
sure. Tonight, the scheduled main event of Raw was supposed to be a 3-way triple threat tag team match with Rob Van Dam, John Cena, and Edge, all picking mystery partners. That's all out the window. They rushed forward 2 weeks to Saturday night's main event. They did a 3-way for the title tonight. Rob Van Dam was defeated by Edge. Edge is the new WWE champion. And presumably tomorrow on ECW TV, he will lose that title as well to somebody. He came out at the beginning of the show, and he cut his promo, and he just had that look on his face that just said, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
He did the match. He tried hard. When he lost the match, he looked like he was about to weep. And, may as well. He may as well.
The gravity of the situation did not hit me at first. I saw the news, and I thought, frankly, it was not a big surprise. We've also suspected Mr. Van Dam of this kind of activity.
Well, I never did.
Well, then you're an idiot. But regardless, so that didn't hit me for a while. And then several hours passed.
And by the way, I'd like to note, what a strange coincidence. For the past 2 weeks, I've been noting the fantastic physical form of young Sabu.
You have, in fact.
Not that this has to do with anything, but I am in many ways a prophet.
Well, we did.
And Nut Bunnies will back me up on this from reading the back issues.
A week or so ago, I noted, I accused Mr. Van Dam of this kind of activity, and you immediately jumped on my case and said it was a foolish thing to do. But
when did you do this, and when did I do that?
A week or two ago. I said, I suggested that Mr. Van Dam was smoking marijuana, and you immediately said it was only hypothetical. Somewhere on the show. One of these shows we did.
Well, it is only hypothetical. We can't accuse people of illegal drug use until they've actually been pulled over by the cops.
Yeah, right.
And by the way, before you go any further, let me give you all a tip. I'm not a drug user.
I was going to say.
Maybe abuser would be the better word, but I'm not even a drug user. I don't even drink, really. But here's my tip if you are a drug user and a drinker and that sort of thing. If you happen to be smoking a little bit of marijuana in your car...
Hashish.
Don't speed, you jackass. Seriously. I mean, that right there, when I read that part of the story, it's like, you got pulled over for speeding while smoking marijuana in the car. Okay, you're an idiot. No offense.
Isn't it supposed to mellow you out, too?
Maybe he'd been going 300 before he started smoking.
Yeah.
And they slowed down to 140 or something.
Yeah.
But regardless, kids, use your brain.
Yeah, but as I was saying, the gravity of it did not hit me right away. Several hours passed and it sank in, and at some point I found myself thinking, wait a minute, the WWE champion was arrested for drug possession.
Yeah, the WWE and ECW champion.
Well, yeah, that too, but
the top man in all of World Wrestling Entertainment was pulled over for smoking and speeding.
And arrested. Yes, and it occurred to me.
You made a big mistake!
Indeed he did. And that would have been a big deal in a year ago at this time. And since then, of course, there is the wellness policy, and it's a gigantic deal. And I clicked on the WWE.com website about half hour into Raw, and they just had a picture of Rob with the belt and the little announcement that it was they changed to a 3-way title match, and I thought, you're fucked. You're just fucked. You have 48 hours left with the company.
What are you smoking?
Well, we don't need to get into specifics, but here's the deal.
It sucks to be him.
I don't know what's going to happen. The WWE is a very strange company.
That's true.
And okay, when the wellness policy testing first came down, everybody took it very seriously. And as I've mentioned many times before on this show, I actually had individuals in the company calling me asking what was up with it because they didn't have any answers. And I was like, I know exactly as much as you do. Whatever the video on WWE.com of Vince giving the speech to everybody, you were there for that speech.
Right.
And I saw that speech on the internet. That's all any of us knows. So some guys took it very, very seriously. Certain individuals, I don't like to mention names, but you can just go back and look at the tape yourself. Gene Snitsky, a couple of weeks after the testing thing came down, began to melt before our eyes.
Yes.
Gene Snitsky on Raw tonight was every bit as big as he's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And a number of other people on this show. I'm not accusing anybody, but perhaps he's got a new workout and protein shake regimen. Johnny Nitro was bigger and more ripped than he's ever been in his life tonight. A number of individuals shrank and are big again. And I'm not sure how that happens. Perhaps they all started watching Ultimate Fighter and began taking Zions.
There you go.
I don't have the answer to this question, but a lot of people began coming to the conclusion that the whole wellness policy was a joke.
Yeah.
This whole thing came down. This is a very public matter right now, and my belief is that Rob Van Dam and Sabu are going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that entails. You can't fire one and not fire the other.
That's true.
I don't think they're going to want to fire Rob Van Dam. I would not be surprised if both men were put on a 60-day suspension, for example, or something of that nature.
Well,
I know the policy says it is grounds for immediate termination. That doesn't mean they have to.
Yes, the exact words are subject to termination.
Yes,
it means they can fire you.
Sure, anything can happen. They can also, if Vince really wanted to, I'll bet he could reward you and give you a cash advance or a bonus of some sort.
Entirely possible.
Vince can do whatever the hell he wants. But obviously, this is a public deal, and they're going to have to make an example of these two men. And I would bet you it's going to be 60-day suspension for both, because if you fire one and suspend the other, it's not fair, basically. Right. And they can't do that, because that sets them up for potential lawsuits and that sort of thing. So I believe it's going to be a 60-day suspension, and I also believe that beginning next week on Raw, Gene Snitsky's going to start to melt again, and you're going to see a lot of other people having to suddenly take this seriously, because now the company is going to have to take it more seriously than they have the last couple of months. So that's just my initial thought. I know nothing, really.
No, I totally agree with you. I'd be stunned, frankly, if they were both fired. And as you said, they can't fire one and not the other, and they kind of... Excuse me, they kind of put themselves in this position, because if they really want to have ECW, they got to have...
No, they don't.
Well...
Let me just cut you off.
All right.
This is not... ECW will end when Vince McMahon wants ECW to end. You lose two guys, they'll just send two guys from Raw and SmackDown. That's all it is.
No, that's true.
This ain't ECW. They just... Here's how ECW works, and everybody should have seen this going in. They were going to use the letters ECW, and so to get it off the ground, they used a whole bunch of ECW names, and those guys have slowly been disappearing off the TV. They will be disappearing off the TV even faster at this point, and it's just going to be a third brand, and that's it. So ECW is not going to die without Rob Van Dam. It's not going to die without Sabu. They'll just have two men take their spot. Test.
Oh, of course, I'd forgotten
And
Test.
what irony that is right there.
Yes.
But... we haven't seen Test on TV yet. He may not be on TV anytime soon for a number of reasons, but that's the latest on that deal there, kids. So just, use your brain, kids.
Stop speeding, everyone.
Use your brain. This is just how stupid, and I hate to accuse anybody, and I won't, but should these two men be guilty, I will say, how stupid. How stupid can you possibly be? If these two men are innocent, I'll just say, how stupid was the state patrol
the law
to pull over two men for maybe they had a George Foreman grill plugged into the cigarette lighter and they were grilling something with oregano on it. You never know. You just never know. It could be stupidity from the state patrol, or it could be two dipshits that got pulled over in a car for smoking and speeding. In which case, I just don't know what to say. So everybody listening to this right now, just use your brain, for crying out loud. With that out of the way, I suppose we should talk about that wretched Raw.
That was a very, very horrible episode of Monday Night Raw.
I will say that it was saved by the main event. The main event was fine. Not a great match by any means, but I love
the heat was awesome.
Everything involving the Raw main eventers because of that, because of the heat.
Yeah.
Because there's no rhyme or reason anymore to who people love and who people hate.
There really isn't.
Edge was the only one that was just universally hated, really. And I'm sure he had a couple of fans, but not enough to drown out the haters.
They did find the 12 Edge fans in the audience after he won and zoomed in on them.
Sure. John Cena was loved and hated. Rob Van Dam was loved and hated. Yeah. And Edge was just largely hated, but made for a great atmosphere. And Cena ended up hooking, what happened? He hit RVD with the FU. And then Edge blindsided him with a belt shot and covered RVD and won. So basically, they protected John Cena, they protected Edge, and Rob Van Dam lost the title clean as a sheet. And it was clean because it was a DQ in a hardcore match or a no DQ match.
Well, he wasn't hit with the weapon; he was hit with the FU.
Sure. So he's FU'd basically.
He was in fact FU'd.
That was the big FU to Rob Van Dam this evening by the company, literally and figuratively. So. There you go. That was that.
That was the only good segment on the show.
It really was. This was the DX show. I'm not even going to bother recapping all of it. I want y'all to read the newsletter to try and just see how I attempted to explain all this bullshit without turning it into the Penthouse Forum. But it was a lot of just very. Some of it was funny. Like there were a couple of good moments, like when Trish ran down to the ring and they just kept replaying it over and over again. I was all for that.
Well, even that they had just done it with Melina beforehand, and it was the same joke.
There was a fellatio-related skit, which was actually one of the funniest things on the show because the camera guy didn't bother.
It was clearly showing that there was no fellatio going on.
Yeah, Hunter's there in his jeans with them zipped up, and we were supposed to believe he was being blown, so to speak, underneath the table, and whoever that was underneath the table's got some talent. Let me tell you that.
Apparently,
because this was one incredible performance. But then Shawn Michaels, the gimmick is he always gets sent away when debauchery is going to occur. This whole DX thing is just complete unintentional comedy. It's funny for all the reasons that the old DX. It's how can I say this? It's funny in exactly the opposite way that the old. I don't even know how I'm trying to say this.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Everything that they do right now is funny because it's so opposite what the original DX was all about. Shawn Michaels can't be a part of DX, but he is.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's
yes.
funny.
Yeah,
they're trying to push this as DX, and he's not allowed to be DX. And
right.
It's not even. They don't even pretend.
He's the square in DX.
He is the square in DX.
He's the guy who wants Mr. Fuji's autograph or puts on a blindfold whenever there's a risk of a bare breast being exposed.
Sure.
He cannot be around it.
What a pussy. Jesus.
He's a pussy or a nerd, one of the two. But
if I end up that big a pussy at 40, this show just will be over. This whole
That's true.
Everything will be over.
Can you imagine this show without the profanity?
I'll move to Big Bear actually, because you never know when Rochelle Leah might show up.
Oh,
so
good call.
We're going to talk about that show in a minute too, kids. But so anyway, it was just a show. I'd like a report if somebody could email me, or actually if somebody has a legal video of it, should it show up on YouTube or something. I would like to recap the Tori Wilson versus Lita match, which my TiVo decided it just didn't want to tape. At about the 19-minute mark, it just immediately skipped forward to the 26-minute mark, so I missed that whole damn thing. But probably missed nothing, but Tony was drooling over it, so perhaps I should check it out. And promo at the beginning to set up the main event. There was an inexplicable match. Eugene, Val Venus, Gene Snitsky, and Viscera versus, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. 5-on-5 against the Spirit Squad. That was...
lame.
Sort of. The fact that all 10 of these men were having a wrestling bout at the same time, that was something else.
It wasn't anything good, though?
It wasn't good at all. It was horrendous.
Thank you.
Just the fact that somebody went, I've got an idea. Val Venus, Eugene, Gene Snitsky, Viscera, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan against the Spirit Squad. And then the rest of the people said, okay.
Let's put that on our opener.
That wasn't the opener, you jackass.
That was the first match.
No, it wasn't. Trish and or the Lita Tori match, which I just moments ago mentioned, got skipped over after the opening segment.
I had forgotten it because we did not see it.
I know, but I mentioned that
right
moments ago, so I thought that perhaps... And by the way, I'm just saying it again, you're an idiot for showing up 10 minutes late. 15, actually.
I was
almost
late.
20. God, dude. You know why it annoyed me today was because I know why you showed up late. Because you don't have to be up early tomorrow. Because it's the 4th of July and you have a day off, so you were just fucking around. I'll pitter-patter over to Taco Bell and sit down and eat for a while.
I got Taco Bell late.
Show up 20 minutes late to Brian's house.
I was 15 minutes late.
Your clock's wrong.
No, it's not.
I said 9:25 anyway. You weren't paying attention.
Oh, you fucker.
But the point was, you just sauntered on in like, I got the whole world, the whole day tomorrow to do jack shit. Meanwhile, I've got 18 million things to do. The newsletter, which I couldn't work on at all today because I was at a goddamn wedding. And not to mention the fact that also tomorrow I've got to go to a 4th of July parade with my family, or the nephews will be very upset, and a barbecue as well. Otherwise, Granny, my mom, and everybody else will yell at me. So I'm just going to get this out of the way right now. I realize I have not missed a Tuesday night deadline in a long, long time, but there's a very good chance the newsletter ain't coming out till Wednesday. And back in the day, this probably would have mattered when everyone just read the newsletter. Nowadays, when nobody seems to give a shit, except for all the liars who say they don't give a shit but actually read it about 4 times, probably going to be a day late. But it ain't a big deal, so you'll all be okay.
Wow, I'm glad you've reached that point now.
I have reached that point.
There was a time where you would have said goodbye to your family forever before you let the newsletter come out a day late.
No, I'm fine with it coming out a day late.
I'd say there was a time.
There was never a time. I just... The reason it always came out on time was because if it comes out on time, I don't have to do anything on Wednesday. Those days are also long gone.
Well, that's true, too.
Wednesday used to be like my Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
Now every day is a Monday. And so... I'm going to work all day Wednesday anyway, you know what I mean? So I might as well finish the newsletter that day.
Sure.
I ain't getting a day off. And that's the point. I ain't getting a day off tomorrow like you are.
Yeah.
So when you showed up late because you got your fucking 4th of July off, I was like, insensitive prick.
So tell me this. What time do we finish watching Raw?
I don't know what time it is right now. It could be 2 in the morning for all I know.
No, we finished watching Raw at 11:05.
Yeah.
We'd caught up to it.
Yeah.
So if I had been there on time, you know what? You still would have finished at the exact same time.
No, we would have been late because had my TiVo not screwed up, that's the reason we ended up on time. Because
but your TV did screw up.
I know, there was 15 minutes of TiVo that disappeared, so we saved 15 minutes. We would have had to watch that 15 minutes. So I had 15 minutes to the end.
We did not, though. It was gone.
I almost just threw that calculator at you for just being such an idiot. Just shut up for a second and let me do my rant. You were late, and you have no excuse. Is it right or wrong?
I do not have an excuse.
Thank you. That's all I need to hear. What else was on this show?
Shit.
Can you help me out?
They did that horrible...
After showing up late, the least you can do is try and provide on the show.
Tag. There was a really... The first of many wretched DX skits was next, I think. The barbecue skit.
I already talked about that with the fellatio. You just let me take over the show for a while. If you have an important thing that you've got to say, which is doubtful...
I was going to say, the odds of that are slim.
You might as well jump in. Otherwise, I will have the great Kali help me out. They had a long skit with Vince McMahon where he was ranting in the ring, and meanwhile DX took over the production booth. This was a mix of mostly horrible, some funny stuff. There was one segment where Vince was talking, and they did some sort of wacky deal with the mics, and he was talking like a chipmunk. And it was dumb, but there were people crying with laughter in the audience. And when you do something meant for comedy and there are people just howling with laughter, I've got to say that it was a success, even if I didn't laugh one time. Did a bunch of other wackiness and that sort of thing. There was a skit where Vince went into the bathroom and urinated on national TV because, you see, DX had the ability to spy on any room in the building. So instead of spying on, say, the woman's locker room, something of that nature, the woman's showers, their first choice was the men's bathroom.
Because they're gay.
Because they're all gay. So they did this whole dealia bob. Those could have been transvestites, by the way, in the skit with Hunter earlier that we spoke of. We do not know. They were not nude. But another skit there and some more stuff. Finally, Vince said he was just going to go home. He had Coach get his limo. Coach got the limo. Vince got in, and fireworks went off, supposedly from inside the limo. Vince came out with his face covered in soot and just coughing and sputtering, and DX said, "You should have just let us in the building." That was the big punchline. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll let us in next week. So that sucked. We saw Umaga face a young man whose name was Scott Wright, which I'm sure was spelled W-R-I-G-H-T, but I immediately thought just R-I-G-H-T, which made this all the more better. Umaga killed this man. More DX wackiness. Umaga, after winning, Alejandro tried to cut the promo, and every time he opened his mouth, a belching noise played over the loudspeakers. And he didn't just talk. He opened his mouth, there was the noise, and he didn't say anything. Over and over again. And meanwhile, Umaga's in the background. After all these weeks of being serious, he's now just a goof in a comedy segment. So that was some good stuff right there. Talked about the Carlito, Johnny Nitro thing. It was just a match. Carlito had the win, but Melina jumped in for the DQ. Then Trish bounced down several times in instant replay and threw Melina out of the ring. So there's another big... It's a big feud that nobody in the world cares about. Let's just add that to the list. And then, of course, we had the main event, which was that sort of thing. We already talked about that. And really the only other thing of any value whatsoever on the show was we actually saw the commercial for the first time.
That's it. I've had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Snakes on a plane's coming, kids. And we saw the first commercial on Raw. So anyway, that was the show.
You did pretty good there.
Thanks for your input there.
You really
Vince.
don't need me at all. The only thing I can think of you missed was the Highlanders.
They had a match and it blew.
Yeah.
No one cared. Raw opened up with Lillian introducing Edge, the new WWE champion. Came out with the belt. He had a announce desk for himself, the rated R announce desk. They had booted out the Mexican announcers. I don't know where they were, but maybe TNA now, for all we know. They may have joined LAX. They have started a work stoppage or whatever the hell it was. Edge sat down to do commentary for the opener, which was John Cena versus Shelton Benjamin. They had a fine little match. It was all right.
Stuff.
Shelton worked very, very hard.
This is one of Shelton's good nights.
Yep, Cena looked good as well. And, of course, Cena ended up getting the pin. Edge was very, very upset.
Well, he got the submission, but anyway.
Well, same thing. Pin submission.
It really is.
It's a victory. Don't correct me on this show. Unless it's an important correction.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
What does it matter whether Shelton got pinned or submitted?
You would get 800 angry emails if I had not corrected you.
I don't care. No one would have to hear you correct me. Don't correct me unless it's something important. Come on now. I've got a reputation to uphold here of never being wrong.
Of course.
So anyway, Edge was sitting there at the desk, and Cena speared him and beat the crap out of him, but then Lita interfered, and Edge ended up giving him Impaler DDT, which is what Ross called it, so vampires are returning. At least on ECW. And afterwards, he was heading up the ramp. He said he was leaving. They were going to watch the rest of the show in the hotel. And at that point, I knew Cena was going to do something. Mm-hmm. I just wanted him to show up, beat up Edge, and throw him into the pool.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, we'll get to that in a little while. So then they replayed all the DX stuff. Eugene was laughing, and Vince was not happy. So they announced they would be teaming up later to take on Eugene in a handicap match. And, wow.
That was going to be the main event. Whew. Vince and Shane McMahon versus Eugene.
Who can stop this sort of action? Who can contain it? I don't know. Then we had Melina and Trish in a wrestling match. Where's James from Kentucky when you need him? Imagine James talking about this deal right here. They had a wrestling match, and it was fine. Trish lost. Melina Pinder using the trunks after Nitro interfered, and that was that. So Trish is doing jobs on her way out. She's still working very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, on her way out doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot because God knows what could happen in this business, but she may be on the way out.
Well,
so
they also set up the mixed tag for Saturday night.
Is that Saturday night's main event?
I'd assume so.
Yeah, it's Carlito and Trish versus Nitro and Melina. Carlito made the save in I guess, street clothes. He wore about $800 alligator shoes, a pair of very expensive pressed dress pants, and his yellow shirt with the apple on it. What a fucking goof. He looked like such a dork. Either go all out or wear your gear, one or the other. And we've already learned a lesson from Samoa Joe about not wearing your gear. So the Highlanders, actually I probably missed a whole bunch of stuff here. Ed showed up at the hotel, checked in. They said his room wouldn't be ready for a while, so they told him to go wait in the bar. We never found out what the point of this was, except just to stall it and get more segments on the air.
That was the point.
Highlanders faced Matt Stryker and Rob Conway. Vince, the floor is yours. I'm doing too much talking, and you're not holding up your end of the bargain.
Sorry, dude. This was a match that was...
You was lucky, punk.
It was okay, but...
I just thought we needed some chic.
See, this is what happens when I try to talk. You
know, the other day I popped my iPod into this little deal I bought. I bought a radio that you can plug your iPod into and it'll play the iPod. And I haven't played my iPod for a long time, just due to various issues related to being very busy. And I put it in there, and for some reason, an old Brian and Vinny show was on there. There's like 8 Art Bell episodes and then a Brian and Vinny show. And I was sitting down to eat dinner, and I thought, oh, what the hell, I'll listen to this classic episode and see, how the show has changed.
Well, I hope you made it to the meal okay.
It was the show in March, the week after the Iron Sheik video debuted, and we introduced the Iron Sheik to everybody on this show. And nobody had ever heard any of the drops before, and we were just playing classic Sheiky throughout the show. And brought back memories.
Back when the show was funny.
I didn't get involved with the too many gay people like Pat Patterson, whatever, Steve Lombardi.
Mm-hmm.
Just listening to various drops and you stating that it would never not be funny. It is now July, Vince. Is it still funny?
For the God and Jesus and Mr. McMahon.
Sometimes.
It's not just insanely funny all the time anymore.
You are fag. You are punk.
That's
little
funny.
Gay.
That part's funny.
Oh, boy.
You asked me excellent question.
That's funny.
We did play the whole Sheik thing the other day.
Oh, yeah, we recently.
And it was actually still funny now that I think about it.
The funniest parts are still funny.
Yes. Okay, well, go on and get back to what you were talking about.
Does it really matter? It's the Highlanders versus Rob Conway and Matt Stryker. Does it matter what I thought about it or anything?
Yeah, actually, because I want you to hold up your end of the bargain here, which is to at least say 42 words minimum on this show.
Okay, well, this is one of those matches where it's not a terrible match, but there is no heat for it whatsoever, and no one cares about anything going on. And the Highlanders got the pin, I think, on Conway with their move. And they were teasing some dissension between Stryker and Conway as if anyone could possibly care about this. And that was that.
I was looking for the Vince McMahon drop where he screams, "Shut up," in the middle of your speech. But
I foiled you.
All I could find was this one. That was a good one, huh? That didn't work.
I can't believe your name is first in this show.
The drop board is broken. All the drop says is, Vinny Pussy says, "Shut up." And I presume that's you just going, "Shut up."
It's entirely possible.
Which we've just now created a new drop, so there you go. Anyway, Foley came out, actually Flair came out, and was running down Foley, and Foley appeared on the big screen, and I can't do this promo justice. It was a great promo, but it was missing something.
I don't know what that would be. I thought it was just a great promo.
It was a great promo, but I've seen great promos. Remember earlier this year when Vince McMahon had his nervous breakdown and just cut that fantastic promo, and we watched it like 17 times in a row? He was losing his mind and turning red and screaming at Shawn Michaels.
The clipboard incident.
Yes.
I don't remember anything he said. I just remember the promo itself.
And we watched it over and over again because it was so great. And when you went home, I probably watched another 8 times.
Okay, that was better than this.
I'll never watch this promo again. It was really good when I watched it. I enjoyed it, but
it got the point across. It moved the feud along.
And I never need to see it again. So it was missing something. Great promos I can watch about 40 times and just enjoy them every time. Sometimes promos are just great once, and I never seem to see them again. Kind of like many drops on this show, actually, that I just play to death. But,
That doesn't stop you, though.
no, it doesn't stop me one bit, actually.
Hey, you fixed the board.
The board, just that one drop was broken.
I see.
The board actually is working just fine.
It doesn't matter. I smashed them all wide. Tonight, I kill you.
Those drops never get old,
No.
you know? But anyway, it was just one of those promos where, I don't know, it was real good, but I moved on with my life. I don't know what that means. Sometimes I just
Maybe
don't...
it's just you. Maybe it's just the mood you're in on a given day.
No. Because all of Foley's promos lately have been like this.
I see.
They've all been good, but I have no desire to ever watch them again. Something is missing with Mick Foley. I think it's just because Mick Foley, it's like, I think everyone knows Mick Foley now. They know the family man, they know the good guy, and he's acting. You just know he's playing.
So you think he's lost in legitimacy?
He has lost some legitimacy. You cannot deny that.
Yeah.
And at least with like Vince McMahon, I mean, you know Vince McMahon. Well, actually, you don't know. I think that might be part of the key. With the Vince McMahon,
That may have been his shoot promo, the one you liked so much.
Yeah, I mean, I could watch it 84 times and just examine 84 different things about it, and it was fascinating. But I mean, even this, I mean, seriously, when this was over, did you really want to see Foley and Flair again?
Well, I guess not.
I didn't. And I mean, when the Vince McMahon promo was over with Shawn, I didn't necessarily need to see them in a match, but I goddamn sure would have wanted to see them cut promos on each other again 84 weeks in a row. This, it was just, the whole Flair-Foley thing just is not working. And I think part of it is because they don't respect each other, but they're not going to do anything about it. They don't respect each other, and they're still going to be professional and just have a wacky pro wrestling feud.
It's not Matt Hardy and Edge.
No, and they're sort of, I mean, with Matt Hardy and Edge, there was that. They really hate each other, and you thought they're going to hit each other real hard. And
they did.
And they did. This, it's like, Foley, he doesn't like Flair, but he knows he's old. Flair doesn't like Foley, but he's going to be a professional. Their last match sucked.
That's true.
There's just, this feud ain't working. And it's too bad because it should, and it could.
I agree with you to a point, but I also think it's gotten so much better since their match. Because I thought everything leading up to the match was awful, and everything...
No, I think they had one good promo leading up to their match, and then they were taken off TV.
No, maybe. I don't know. I just remember everything before the match thinking this is bad. Then the match happened.
That first promo where they were in the ring together going off on each other?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Oh, well, you're an idiot.
Fuck off.
But yeah, anyway, all of this led to Paul Heyman coming out and offering Flair a match with Big Show for the title.
This is all one segment.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, why don't you just say Foley's going to interfere tomorrow night and get it over with? I don't know. And another thing is, like, 5 years ago, this would have been huge. Flair is going to be going to ECW to fight for the ECW World title. Now it's like, who cares? He ain't going to win.
No.
If he did, he'd win a nothing belt, basically. This is not going to be the Big 17.
No.
And really, I don't want this to be the Big 17.
No.
So, just kind of, everyone, it just, I don't know. It was not bad and it was not a disaster, but it really wasn't much.
It was a long, entertaining segment that didn't really make you want to see anything in the future.
Now, so I got to give that a thumbs in the middle, really. Amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was too good. I got to go thumbs up.
I got to give it a thumbs in the middle. And I mean, the Foley promo was real good, but still, it was strangely a thumbs in the middle. Sometimes things just are. I can't give you a good explanation for it because I
It's
don't.
happening a lot on this show.
I don't know. Maybe I just never know what I'm talking about, and
That's entirely possible.
I
would say likely.
I just express my passions.
I'm going to back up now. I'm sitting too close to you.
Starting to sweat, coincidentally.
Oh, Jesus.
What's next? Visser and Charlie Haas.
God.
Go to town.
Where do I start?
Notice I always give you the stuff I don't give a shit about.
That's true. You never give me...
And it's usually stuff that I left the room for and didn't care about.
You did, in fact, leave the room here. Charlie Haas and Viscera had a wrestling match. And for reasons no one can understand, Lillian started to get distressed during this. And finally she interjected herself. And she got on the mic and ordered them to stop fighting. She just wanted to be friends with both of them. So... they kept fighting, and Viscera got blinded, and he gave Lillian a Samoan drop, and guys came out to check on Lillian and make sure it was okay. But then Charlie Haas and Viscera laughed. They were happy they had hurt Lillian, and they left together, and this started out shitty and then just got shittier and shittier as it went along, and by the end it just blew.
What kind of disgusting, despicable...
That's a good way to describe this.
It was, actually. That was Lex Luger's reaction watching this segment at home.
And actually, that was a fantastic way to describe the next segment, the Diva Surge.
No, this gets a thumbs up.
Okay, this was one of the things I was talking about on the show that was so bad, it was good.
Yes.
For those of you that have not been on the site for a long time, last year, before the radio show began, I had a little voice recorder, and we did sort of live. We taped it live. It was live tape, as they say in the biz. We did Diva Search updates. And there have been a lot of Diva Searches, a lot of wacky comedy. The Diva Search commentary shows up on our board every now and then. People guffaw, laugh. They asked us to do it again this year, but ain't happening. It's just too much stuff we got to do now. But the point is, there's been a lot of bad, horrible segments in the Diva Search, and this trumped them all. This was so far above and beyond the previous worst segment ever that I can't even think of anything that even came close. This was so bad. The Miz came out. And he was supposed to explain how we could vote for our favorite diva.
For a while, he was doing fine. He was
Yes.
beating the Miz, hyping up the crowd, going hoorah, and it was going along just fine. And then I don't know what happened, but he broke.
He said, and I'm going to basically
Quote him.
Sort of. I'm going to be the Miz right now because I have no earthly idea about this stuff. He said, if you want to vote for your favorite diva, you need to go and send a text message on your phone to a certain number, and I don't know what the number is, but you can vote by typing in the diva's name, and that's that.
You actually were much better than the Miz there.
The Miz
got about 3 phrases into that, and then stopped and froze, and his eyes got huge.
He looked up at the big
He turned
screen.
and looked over his shoulder at the Titantron as if there would be instructions on what to say up there, and there were not instructions, so he turned back to the crowd and said, uh-oh.
The only reason the Miz did it better than me was because the Miz actually had the phone number written on his wrist, and he glanced at it. I did not even have that information.
He still got it wrong, though.
But I actually could have trumped the Miz if I wanted to by just saying you could go to WWE.com. He couldn't even figure that out.
No, he said go to WWE.
And then he didn't even remember the .com part. He didn't know if it was WWEDivaSearch.com, WWECourtBiz.com, fuck the WWE.com. So anyway, he just screwed everything up. Then all the girls came out.
They were booing him by the time the girls came out.
The girls came...
You're also nervous.
Pardon me, I must be. I'm thinking of these girls. That was still a better performance than Miz when I coughed violently into the microphone right there. So the girls all came out and lined up on the stage, and Miz said, you've got 20 seconds, all of you, to tell us why you deserve to win or whatever. And the first girl, I've actually got them all written down here, so I might as well just read from my report here since...
No one reason to do that anyway.
The first girl, Jen, cut a very generic promo, and everybody booed. And Miz said, whoa, tough crowd. And at that point, I'm sure Vince McMahon threw a headset. Layla has a little spirit, but she's doomed. What the hell's up with my throat?
You need to take a break? Get some wine?
No. Layla, like I said, has some spirit. She's doomed. Erica was next. They loved her, and then she spoke. Then we had Maurice, who was hot, but she spoke with the thickest French accent, thicker than Sylvain Grenier.
Oh, God, yeah.
Immediately booed. Then she added at the end, I'm hot. That did not help.
No.
Then we had Milena, who will have a new name very, very soon. She was a good talker.
Well, assuming she lasts.
May have been the best talker of all, but she ain't going to last.
Yeah.
Very little hope. Rebecca was doing fine, and then all of a sudden she said she had something for the people. She reached into her boot, she pulled out spice, and she began shaking it over the other competitors. This was all-time history of television bad.
And it got the reaction for something that was all-time history of television bad. She did redeem herself somewhat by placing the microphone between her breasts.
No. JT kept it short and sweet, so that's good. Amy came out and said the energy here was incredible, so she's the best liar and thus probably has the best hope, the most hope of anybody in this deal. But as I noted, this was the worst, the dirt worst of all time, ever in the history of diva searches, and probably, as mentioned earlier, television. Miz then said he had a curve ball, and I was like, was this the straight pitch over home plate? I don't know much about baseball.
Wow, that made sense, though. You understand the opposite.
The curve ball. He's going to throw a curve ball after this. The curve ball is going to continue on SmackDown.
Which we knew.
Well, yeah.
I knew.
And he said on Friday night it would be the return of the Diva Boot Camp. I have no memory of the Diva Boot Camp except it was horrible. And this...
Isn't that the one where they had to crawl under a netting and somebody's boobie came out?
I'm not going to joke about this stuff, but I hope no one gets hurt. Because last year at the Diva Boot Camp, about 3 girls nearly broke their neck or their legs or something.
I think you're thinking of the obstacle course.
That wasn't the boot camp?
No, because I remember...
The obstacle course, the boob popped out.
Okay, maybe it was the obstacle course then. But yes, I vividly remember the obstacle course. They went over the wall and landed on their head several times.
Yes.
And that was the one where we did separate commentaries. And you were screaming and wailing and going, God, I hope she's okay, whereas I was laughing like a madman.
Yes, I was actually worried about the lives of human beings, and you were cackling.
I was callous and cold and heartless.
That half-naked women were nearly dying in front of your face, which explains so much about you, really. But so anyway, that's the big deal for Friday, so tune in, kids.
That's the draw for SmackDown.
Tune in. Hacksaw Jim Duggan chewed out Shane backstage. Vince hit him with a chair, laid him out.
Oh, we skipped the whole Eugene thing.
Doesn't matter.
They put paint on him.
Randy Orton came out, said if anyone hadn't heard, Hulk Hogan was going to Saturday night's main event. He had a match with Val Venus, beat him 10 seconds or so, and then continued his promo, saying he could not wait to introduce himself to young Brooke.
Hulk Hogan was the biggest babyface in the show.
Yeah. I like how some people are just appalled at the storyline of Randy Orton, a 25-year-old man having the hots for an 18-year-old girl. Meanwhile, no one thinks twice about 60-year-old Vince McMahon macking with 20-year-olds. That's totally acceptable and fine. Randy Orton, however, is a horrible pervert, so... Good God. In the wrestling business, people are appalled. What the hell's wrong with people?
I was not aware anyone was appalled.
Yeah, there are a couple people that are appalled.
Are their names Hulk? No, actually, I doubt that entirely.
No, Edge and Lita were in their room. Some dude showed up with a room service. Edge said, we need some champagne. And the guy said he'd be right back. After commercial, who should storm into the room but John Cena?
And he didn't even bring the champagne with him.
No, what a dick. Beat up Edge in the room. There was glass everywhere, which is never a good idea and that sort of thing. So, whole thing was over. It was like, when this whole thing started, I wanted this to happen, and I wanted Cena to throw him into the pool. But it was for purely selfish reasons, because I love any show where a man gets thrown into a swimming pool. But in reality, this was a horrible way to build up Saturday night's main event. Just plain dumb.
Yeah, it should have had Cena had his match, Edge jumped him, but Cena took advantage, and Edge ran away. And
they're trying to recreate 1999, and God bless Cena, but he ain't Steve Austin beating someone up in a hotel room.
No.
Steve Austin, when he dinged the little belt at the end, that would have been funny. Cena was it was sort of funny.
This is absolutely not Steve Austin and Booker T in the grocery store.
You shouldn't even mention such a thing, because now you
realize how much this sucked.
Yeah. So then we had the main event of the evening. It was Eugene versus Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon, and Vince, once again, the ball is in your court.
The Spirit Squad came out. They were at ringside, and they beat Eugene for a while. And then eventually they put Eugene out on the table, and Shane was going up top. He was going to drop the elbow.
Just tried to help you out there a little bit.
And I don't know if I just kept going. But Shane was going to drop the elbow and put Eugene through the table, and then DX finally came out, and they did the deal where Vince wanted them to stand in the middle of the stage, but they were wise to him. They knew he had hijinks planned, so they avoided the middle of the stage for a long time. And then finally they went there, and Vince gave the cue, and whatever Vince wanted to happen didn't happen, so DX stepped forward, and then a net fell from the sky.
Yeah, net.
a net, a big net. He's going to catch
I
him.
don't care you be Sophia Loren. I don't care you be the prettiest woman in the earth. I cannot sleep with you anymore. I cannot have sex with you anymore.
Sorry, we need another little...
Iron Sheik was not in the net, sadly. That would have been great.
No.
If they had just dropped Iron Sheik onto the stage and he just started ranting.
By the way, that little drop was better than this whole segment.
Oh, God, this segment was...
It's the reason I played it.
Eventually, Eugene pinned Vince and then disappeared. And DX was happy, and then it ended.
Yeah. Eugene pinned Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
I don't know who was supposed to get over.
Not Eugene. Sure as hell not Eugene.
Eugene pinned Vince McMahon, and it was like an upset.
I
He
guess
pinned the 60-year-old owner of the company with a schoolboy and had him surprised.
I guess DX was supposed to get over because he managed to avoid being caught in the net. But
There was something else on this show that really annoyed me, and I'm trying to remember what it was. It was something... It may have been... it was something I totally forgot about. Highlanders.
we did that. Well, the segment came up, but you refused to talk about it. You put the ball.
Oh,
in my
did you
court.
recap it?
Well, we went something happened. We went on a tangent.
That's right, you did recap it.
There
I'm
was some
sorry.
tangent you went on. What was it?
I just remembered. Just shut up. I'm going to explain what I hated about this. Highlanders faced Matt Stryker and Rob Conway. I actually should have talked about this a little bit. Basically, Matt Stryker and Rob Conway don't get along. And last week they had a match, I believe, with the Highlanders. It was the same deal. And Matt Stryker bailed on Rob Conway. Rob Conway got pinned by the Highlanders in their debut. So this week, Matt Stryker and Rob Conway apparently made up. So they did the rematch. And once again, Matt Stryker walked out on Rob Conway and the Highlanders pinned him.
Oh, did he?
So, are you stupid?
I forgot.
Just listen to my rant and don't speak for a second. So the point is, you've got Matt Stryker, who nobody cares about. You've got Rob Conway that nobody cares about. They're about to have a feud that nobody's going to care about, and they're setting up that feud and simultaneously giving a win to the Highlanders, who are beating two men that nobody cares about. So they found a way to have four men in the ring and get none of them over. That takes talent. That's why I hated this segment, Vince. So then we watched Raw, and I'm going to say right now that we fast-forwarded through a lot of commercials, a lot of ring entrances and that sort of thing, so I don't know for sure, but I did not see a graphic for Bob Orton Sr., and I did not see or hear any mention of him on the show, even during Randy Orton's match, and that surprised me a lot. He is obviously the grandfather of Randy Orton, the father of Cowboy Bob Orton. He passed away a couple of days ago. He, I believe, had a heart attack, and he went to the hospital, and things were all right for a while, and then he ended up passing away. And a big figure in pro wrestling, and WWE.com put something on the website, and I expected to at least see a graphic tonight, and I was very shocked that we didn't see it. And if I hear that it's because Randy Orton is supposed to be a heel, and thus they could not put up a graphic for his grandfather that passed away because they didn't want sympathy for Randy Orton, I will vomit, but nobody listening to this right now can tell me I'm full of shit and this is absurd to even consider because we've seen everything from this company.
Dude, that's why I assumed it was not on.
Well, that's
that's the conclusion I am leaping to.
That is the ultimate in bullshit, basically.
Yeah.
But, yes, Bob Orton Sr. passed away. We will have a link in today's news update, being Tuesday, to a story that Slam Wrestling did that everybody can check out. And hopefully we will have something in the newsletter next week. I am trying to catch everything up now, but that is a story there. And very sad that WWE did nothing on the television show for Bob Orton. I suppose maybe
In
Friday on
hindsight,
SmackDown, since Orton is not a SmackDown guy, they can put something on the show or something absurd, but I don't know.
Part of me thinks, given their track record, maybe it's for the best they don't bring up that someone has died.
They can put a graphic up and not mention it the rest of the show. At least you put the graphic up before the show. They put up graphics many times.
I'm afraid they would not stop there, though.
Well, maybe they
do
wouldn't,
something.
but at least they'd have
Maybe
the
Hulk
graphic.
Hogan would come out and cut a promo on the dead man.
I don't think that would happen because he wasn't a character anytime recently, and They would not have done anything like that. They should have just put up a graphic. They could have just put up a graphic, but they didn't.
I agree. They should have.
And if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I'm sure somebody on the board will let us know one way or the other. But I have not checked all the other Raw reports yet, so I don't know. But just from watching it, I saw nothing, so that was that. DX opened up with some wackiness, and I can't remember what the hell they did.
They plugged their shirts.
There was a highlight video actually opened it. Then they came out and plugged their shirts and that sort of thing. And Vince McMahon ended up coming out after DX tried to sign the two of them versus Vince and Shane for the main event tonight. Vince came out, said he made the rules, wasn't going to happen, and he instead signed Shane versus Shawn. And then Shane, who was not happy with that, added Hunter and Vince in the respective corners. Vince wasn't happy with that, and I don't know. This should have been more.
Yeah.
Nobody really seemed to care that much.
The Texans, the San Antonio crowd was happy to see Shawn, and then they were not happy when they realized Shawn was going to be wrestling Shane McMahon.
Yes.
But that's what it was.
And when I realized it was in San Antonio, I thought, well,
he's fucked.
Actually, I didn't think that. I initially did for about 1 second, and I thought, who am I fooling?
There are different rules for different people in this company.
Is Hunter going to be humiliated the next time they go to Greenwich? No.
No.
So Shawn Michaels is also on the list of guys that do not get humiliated in their hometown. So, and of course, it turns out he did not. So.
No, as fate would have it.
Todd Grisham was in the ring. He announced the next match was for the #1 contendership for the Cruiserweight title. Not sure if these were just a bunch of fuck-ups tonight or if everybody was just making fun of Miz all evening. There were blatant, DX, in fact, made fun of Miz.
They called him by name when Shawn couldn't remember his line.
Sure, and I'm not sure.
This, I think, was Todd just being fucking Todd.
I'm not sure.
Well, because JR immediately jumped on him.
Yes.
And so did King, and they didn't mention he's as bad as Miz or anything. They just said, boy, I miss Lillian.
Yes, but I don't know. I look at everything now as a work. I figure, okay, Miz fucked up, so I look at the WWE mindset is, if we have a bunch of people fuck up this week, we'll make it look like it's all planned. Miz was not, in fact, an idiot. We'll just make it part of the show. But Todd may have fucked up. But
the only flaw in that plan is that
it struck me as not a fuck up because he didn't miss a beat.
No, he announced it like it was exactly what his card read.
Yes,
which is possible, but you're giving them a lot of credit for subtlety.
We're spending too much time on this.
Which they're not known for.
Let me move on.
Okay.
Carlito and Shelton Benjamin had a match, and I did not watch any of it. So Vince,
oh, good. I'm glad you didn't make the claim. It was fine.
Why would I have made the claim that I watched it when I didn't?
I don't know. But yes, you unabashedly said, I've seen these men wrestle too many times, and you left the room. They did a match. It was fine. There was a great spot where Carlito did a flip, and so Shelton kicked him in the face, and that made me laugh. And then Shelton got the win with a roll-up and grabbing the ropes. So there you go. Carlito got the win with the grabbing the ropes. So he's your new #1 contender. Were you listening to me at all?
Was it any good?
It was fine for a 2.5-minute Raw match.
This show, we want a little bit of analysis.
I see.
So if you explain
this is
what
fine
happened,
for a 2.5-minute Raw match.
Thank you. You just explain what happened in the match, and chances are everybody has already seen the entire show, so they're listening to get our opinions of the show. So it would be nice if you explain whether or not the match was any good.
Do you want me to snap again?
Why would you snap? Because I gave you a little bit of advice in a friendly manner. Did I yell at you? Did I raise my voice?
No, you did not.
The thing that now, more than Monday's show, was the show the week ago Monday with the Jim Ross skit. Because at the time of the Jim Ross skit, as much as every...
What's happening?
Uh-oh.
I'm here down the line. They're going to, bygones be bygones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's an example of me unabashedly lying.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
And one clean swoop.
Then we had Carlito and Trish flirting backstage. She left and he said, "That's cool." Cool!
That's what he said.
Does anything ever move on in the wrestling world?
No. Everything's a constant treadmill.
Carlito, when he first debuted, his gimmick was that he felt he was cool, and if you were not cool, he did not like you. His character has never changed.
No.
There's been no...
And why would it, really? Things are cool or they're
Well,
not cool.
because you sort of want him to break out of the mid-card, and he's had the same goddamn gimmick since he debuted, and he's stuck in the same spot, and nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Lame.
And that's not cool.
Then they had the Brawl to End It All, which was the focus of This Week in History, which involved Fabulous Moolah, who looked 84 years old in 1984, coincidentally. And they cut from Moolah and Wendy Richter to Candice Michelle coming out to referee Trish and Tori versus Mickey and Victoria, which was just a match. The highlight of this match was the announcers claiming once again that Raw was the longest-running weekly series in TV history, which is... I love that lie because it's such an unabashed, bold-faced, unrepentant lie.
It's not a bending of the truth.
No, it's
not
just
manipulating numbers.
Outright lying.
It's just a piece of shit.
Like, if I just flat out said, you're a heterosexual male.
That would be true and pointless, but...
Austin approved. That drop is never going to get old for me. And the funny thing is, it's already old for you.
Funny is one word for it. I suppose that's a word you could use to describe the thing, but yes. What are we talking about?
Well, you paused there like you were going to continue, and then you just fizzled out.
What's new?
Can you explain the finish, perhaps? It's like a quiz show now. You just
what
watched
happened?
the damn show.
Victoria...
By the way, hold on a second. I'm going to save the day for you. I'm not going to make you answer that question.
There was a ref involved.
Doesn't matter. I've got something else I got to bring up with you. Last night's show, you had a mental breakdown. You sort of flipped out. You acted very irrationally. After a day of thought, after a day of contemplation, reflection, really, have you thought more about your statement that the TNA pay-per-view last night was a thumbs-down show?
Yeah.
And?
Thumbs down.
You're just going to be stubborn.
I regret watching the show. I wish I had not come over. I would have had more fun doing something else.
No, you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Because I picture you're something else just sitting at home and cleaning your bathroom.
Yes.
And you would have had more fun doing that than watching the TNA show.
I would at least have gotten something done.
I cannot
something
believe
productive.
I cannot believe you're sticking to your story in such a it's ridiculous. Especially the poll. You were just humbled in that poll. Humbled.
Wait. The which poll? The Brent Kramer moment poll?
I'm
or?
going to ask you about that next.
Okay.
I'll ask you about that first,
Okay,
then we'll talk about the poll.
The thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle poll.
Yes.
Okay, the last I looked at it, I believe it was 4 up, 5 in the middle, and 4 down.
You
call that a humbling?
You are sadly mistaken.
I may be out of date.
You may have looked at it at 8 o'clock a.m. this morning, but the poll is massively changed. While I'm getting the poll, I will ask you about the Brent Kremen moment. Do you now feel, in fact, that it was somewhat of a Brent Kremen moment?
Hell no.
I cannot believe how...
Violently no.
All right, TNA Victory Road poll here on the board. All right, we've got thumbs up, 14%. Thumbs in the middle, 23%. Add that up, 14 and 23.
37?
And thumbs down is only 17%. The remaining votes are who cares.
Yeah.
But those are people that did see the show. So in that poll, you did, in fact, get massively humbled.
How many votes were for thumbs down?
I actually just got off the page, so I don't
Fine.
know. But it wasn't a whole lot.
It wasn't 0.
No, but the point was you were overruled in your bitterness. Then we've got, was that a total Brent moment? Yes, no, or yes. I just submitted my vote, by the way. Not to
How did you vote, Brian?
Incredible. Was that a total Brent moment? Yes, 50%.
Okay, that was rigged.
No,
this morning,
50%.
This morning it was running like 3-1 in my favor.
There's only 8 votes, so one vote could very easily have brought this to 50% and 50%.
Aha!
Okay, so it would have been 4 votes to 3 votes that it was a Brent Kremen moment.
No, I mean it was like 75%.
it would have been
Are you certain there were many people voting on that? Did someone reset the poll?
Someone may have. It says total votes 8. Something very odd must have happened.
Maybe there's another poll. Maybe someone put up another one.
Somebody's fucking around.
I swear there was like 20 votes.
I could have too. Oh, there is.
Aha!
Some idiot made another poll.
You fuckwad.
I'm not going to yell at anybody, but I believe it was... In fact, I'm going to blame the person. Seal. For some reason, you created a second poll here.
That was
Okay.
that was dumb, Seal, but that song Crazy You Do was pretty cool.
Fine, we will disregard that poll, even though that poll more specifically points to my side of the argument. Was that a total Brent moment? Yes, 36%.
There you go.
No, 63%. So you did win that poll, but there were still 22 people listening to the show that felt that that was a total Brent moment.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. And
Apparently Brent's a member.
And you were, in fact, completely humbled in the TNA poll. So I just want you to know that your opinion, according to that scientific poll, was, in fact, wrong.
If that's the case, why am I even here? If my opinion is so invaluable, if my opinion is so wrong, if my opinion is so worthless, why am I even giving it?
For everybody else's amusement. Because you're entitled to your opinion, Vince, even if it's wrong. That's the point of this show. I truly believe that.
I know you do, actually.
Now, here's why. Listen, if we... Okay, this Raw tonight, what'd you think of this Raw? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
In the middle, leaning down.
I thought it was just in the middle.
In the middle, it's fine.
We could argue about this. In fact, I could probably say it was a thumbs up, and I probably wouldn't argue about the thumbs down. But this especially...
I would say forgettable in the whole, so...
Especially compared to last night. When I look at the TNA poll, or the TNA show last night and the show tonight, the TNA show was better. And the fact that you gave this show a thumbs in the middle and last night's show a thumbs down shows that your argument is based on emotion and irrationality, if that's such a word, rather than a true breakdown of the program.
Fair enough.
Okay, that's all I want you to admit.
Yeah.
That you're giving that a thumbs down.
My review of any show, any tape review I do, any show we watch, my review is just how the show makes me feel. Did I enjoy watching it?
Okay, well, let's do this then, and I will end this argument forever if you at least admit this. If you step away from your feelings yesterday and just took that show as a whole, as far as the matches on the show and everything like that, was it not just a thumbs in the middle show? I mean, it's a product. Forget how you felt yesterday. It's a product. Was it really significantly worse than the Raw show you watched tonight that you gave a thumbs in the middle to?
No.
Okay, that's all I want to know. And I will not argue anymore about the poll. That's all I was trying to get out of you. I was trying to get you to say that last night was purely an emotional, angry statement. Because I've made many of those.
Okay.
I've said this fucking match totally sucked and it was -5 stars, when in reality it was probably only -2. Emotion comes into it at times. But I felt that you should have admitted that, as opposed to just saying this show just was a thumbs down out of pure anger and whatever the hell it was.
Why do you care? Oh, never mind. I'm bored.
Because I know you're a man of truth. And last night's vigorous argument that was a thumbs down show did not strike me as a truthful statement on your part.
I will concede that show may have been a thumbs in the middle, but if you remove the thumbs in the middle option and you're only allowed to go thumbs up or thumbs down, then it is thumbs down.
Fine.
Okay.
I will give you that.
All right.
Where the hell were we on this whole thing here?
This crappy Raw show. Which wasn't that crappy. I'm just tired of doing stuff.
Oh, come on. Life's good. Life's fun now.
Life could be a lot worse.
After this, we're done till this weekend.
Yay.
At least you are. I've still got to do shows every day.
Yep.
I don't want to hear your bitching. Then we had the real highlight of the show, which was Mick Foley doing a promo.
The first highlight.
We have talked about Mick Foley's promos for several weeks now, and I've said the same thing over and over, that they're good, but they don't affect me. I don't really care to see these two men wrestle. There's just something about them that just doesn't work out. And this was the worst, actually, of them all early on. I was watching this going, this promo is so bad. Foley's he's being wacky. He's not taking this seriously at all. I mean, I have less than zero desire to see this match now. This is so bad. And I was ready to write a scathing review, and then all of a sudden, he screamed, "No rematch, Rick," and went, "Yeah!" and stuck his thumb in the air and did this gigantic toothless grin, and I lost it. And you can confirm this.
You went from raging psychopathic Mick Foley to happy cuddly Mick Foley like that, and it was great.
And he gave a gigantic thumbs up, and we rewound this at least 6 times in succession and watched it over and over again.
Yeah.
This was the first promo I've ever... Please stop, or I'm going to start playing drops to annoy you. This was the first promo I ever saw that went from being 0 stars to 5 in the course of 1 second.
1 word.
1 second. Yeah. And a thumbs up.
And a thumbs up and a smile.
Because it was just...
Absurd.
That's the only word. Nonsensical.
Yes.
Why? Why did he just go, yeah, and give a big thumbs up? I don't know, but it was so great.
I'm so happy he did.
And it made this awesome.
It really did. This, years from now, this will be remembered as the Monday Night Raw when Mick Foley went, yeah.
Yeah. So that was awesome. Then we had the Highlanders beating 2 jobbers. And afterwards, they met with DX, and DX told him to go into Vince's office, yell in his bad ear, eat all his food, and slap him on the ass.
Touch his buttocks.
Tap him on the butt, Hunter said, exactly. So then we had the Matt Striker, Delia Bob, where he was interviewing Cena, and Cena kicked him out of the ring, and I sat there thinking, what the fuck was the point of Matt Striker being here? The point was Umaga had to put John Cena through a chalkboard.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it.
That was why Matt Striker was here.
Cena sold it for about 4 seconds. So really, this was just a chance to get some people on the air and waste some time.
It did feel like the old TNA deal where they were cramming 20 people into a 1-hour show just to get them on there and get them the payday.
Yes. I will say, the finish of the match, by the way, was Umaga. Edge and Lita came down. Edge hit the ring. Cena went to give him the FU, but Umaga cut him off and gave Cena the thumb to the throat and pinned him. And that was that. And I've got to say, if you didn't see the show and you just listen to this, you probably think this is really stupid. Maybe it was stupid, but I had no problem with it whatsoever. And I will say that all the work they've done with Umaga, I have bitched about it a lot. I've said, it's the same thing every week. Can we please move on? Can we please forward this? We get it. He beats up a jobber, blah, blah. I was very down on this. He came out here for this match with John Cena, and the people took him seriously. That was the key.
Yeah, they did. They're what... This is a really good match.
Yes.
I was stunned at how good this was.
They were,
and I say that as a big Cena fan, but I don't think it's going to be any good at all, and it was. And part of the reason it was good was the people believed Umaga might beat him.
Yes.
They thought he was a credible threat.
He was a credible threat, and it's... and it wasn't even that this was just a great hot crowd.
No, they were dead for a lot of stuff.
There was a lot of stuff on the show they were dead for. And they were alive for this match. And it didn't even get that bullshit reaction when Cena got pinned. People bought it.
Yeah.
And I got to give WWE a Mick Foley, big thumbs up for this segment because it fucking worked.
It did.
All that work to get over Umaga, and they actually got the guy over. And they actually... It was actually such that people bought it when he beat John Cena. And, of course, Cena got fucked and everything like that, which was fine. But, this... strangely enough, was a success.
It worked. It was entertaining. It got a guy over. It built heat. It was, like you say, yeah.
This was a segment on this particular show right here. So that was that. Then we had Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I don't know why I wrote that. Oh, because he screamed that. He flipped out at the Highlanders who were in his office and said, "Nobody yells at me. I'm Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I yell at you." He kicked him out of the office. And that was the end of that. So apparently they won a match with the Spirit Squad, by the way. This was surreal. They won their second match, a squash match, and then they challenged the tag team champions. And
they're going to get it, too.
Probably will, but it was just weird. Orton faced Eugene, beat him quickly with the Delia Bob, cut the promo on Brooke. They replayed the deal from Saturday Night's Main Event, and not much to add.
She still wants to bone her.
Things so rushed.
Yep.
I'm still... I mean, this could have been the show where they went on a show-long date.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could they not have done that here and then something... It could have been just the smallest thing, like they go on the whole date and he's flirting the whole time and she's sort of kind of not getting too close to him, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, the last scene on the show is he's walking her to the house and just fucking kisses her. And you see Hogan, like, in an upper window looking down and going, "Oh, brother." And that's the end of the show. It would have been fucking awesome, if I do say so myself. But no, it was just he beat Eugene, and he's mad at Hulk. And
buy your pay-per-view.
Such a waste. I mean, That took no. I didn't even think of that until just now. It took no creativity to just think of what they could have done on this show. It's not like I watched this and started typing out this big scenario. I made that up in the spur of the moment. And I could make up 20 others of just wacky, cool things they could have done with this feud. And instead, they fucked it all up, and I'll never forget. This is invasion level almost. Not really, but
come on now, but
still annoyed me. So then we had another Mick Foley thing. He was back.
No problem with this.
By the way, in both of these segments, he sang. And my God, is he a horrible singer. Just horrible.
He, at one point, said, I'm going to put this in the words of a famous song. And he began to sing, and I did not know the song.
No.
I had no idea what he was doing, what he was singing.
It was a Michael Jackson song, and the gist of this promo was, "You're out of my life, you washed up piece of crap. Yeah!" And I looked at it again, I laughed, and I watched it 6 more times.
This is even better because they left the camera on him for just a half second longer as he just smiled with his thumb up.
I wish they had not done that one this week. I wish they'd done one a week for like 2 years, and then by the end of 2 years, I'd be dying to have this match. I'd have bought a ticket to go see it live.
Yeah,
but
maybe a plane ticket to go see it live.
These were like the old. Remember when Orton was hurt years back?
RNN.
The RNN. This was RNN level. Just Foley's going to be so over because of these things, and that's not the intent. He's supposed to be the heel, but these are going to make him a gigantic babyface because they're so.
There's going to be the Mick Foley T-shirt.
There is. Everyone's going to be going. Yeah, there's going to be thumbs everywhere. Just fantastically great. And I wanted to hate it. Believe me, before he did that, I was thinking this is the worst of Mick Foley. This is so goddamn horrible.
This is phoning it in.
And boy, did he ever whip that fucking thumb out, and it was all great. Flair came out and cut a promo. Very weird segment. Johnny Nitro came out and said he was friends with Foley. He was answering the challenge. He punched Flair. Flair put him in the, fought back, went for the figure 4. Nitro pushed him off. He bonked into Melina, who fell on her ass. Claimed she twisted her ankle. Nitro said they were going to sue Ric Flair. And Flair said he had a message for Mick Foley, which was, woo. And that was the whole damn segment.
And that was the whole damn segment. And I don't know what to make of it either.
Are
they going to make it Foley and Nitro versus Flair and somebody?
I don't know. I have no explanation. It was another get everybody on the show moment.
Yeah.
Main was Shawn and Shane with Hunter and Vince in the corners. I actually missed half this because I didn't really care that much, which should tell you a lot about it.
Yeah. There was a point.
Think about how often I would have left during a Shawn Michaels match.
This may have been the first time.
No, it's not. But
well, yeah. Shane McMahon at one point went through the Shawn Michaels comeback.
That was a Captain Obvious moment if there ever was one, but go on.
I'm sorry, what?
You don't know what I'm talking about when I mention Captain Obvious.
Here's a question for you. Let's say Vince lives to be 150 years old.
Well, he's not going to.
There you go.
I knew that. Okay. Well, anyway, I will ignore whatever you were talking about and move on. Shane McMahon went through the Shawn Michaels comeback sequence at one point. The reverse atomic drop, the 2 clotheslines, the body slam and elbow smash. And watching Shane do this made you realize just how great Shawn Michaels is. Because it sucked.
Yeah.
The highlight was when he hit the body slam and then went to climb up the turnbuckle and realized he was on the wrong side. He can only do an elbow drop with his right arm, and he had to be on the other side of the ring. So he went all the way around on the apron to the right turnbuckle and then climbed it.
You've got to be kidding
me. Oh,
me.
no. You can go check.
What an idiot.
Yep.
I'm glad I missed that part, because I'd still be ranting as we do this update right here. But anyway, the finish was Spirit Squad hit the ring for the DQ. Just lame finish to a lame match. I presume they did the dark match, and Hunter and Shawn beat all the Spirit Squad again. Everybody went home happy, but it was a totally lame finish for the live show. Bad guys tried to kill Shawn. They were going to give him the upsy daisy through chairs, but Hunter made the save with a sledgehammer, showing off the ring. DX still getting heat on the McMahons or making their big deal. So I assume at some point the hammer's going to fall.
You would think so.
But they have many weeks till SummerSlam, so the hammer may not be falling for a little while now. But it was a fun show. Nothing great, but fun enough. That's really the only thing I got to say about it. I've seen far worse shows.
I've seen far worse shows. This is totally forgettable.
So, yeah, many of these.
Except for the
Except for Mick Foley, so. Let's talk about Raw.
Okay.
I'm gonna make you talk about most of this show because that'll drag you down into your usual.
Talking about wrestling
doldrums.
will, in fact, drag me down.
Good. That's what we need right now because you're getting out of control.
God forbid I should entertain anyone.
We need strippers and fucked up girls. That is the best way to describe.
That is a T-shirt in the future.
Yeah, that's what the deal is. You're talking too much. I've never had this problem with you before. Normally, in fact, we just had this problem about 5 minutes ago. You made a statement and just ended. Now I can't shut you up. And I'm really not sure which is worse.
I think really you just hate me. It doesn't matter what I do.
No, there's a what it is there's a middle ground that I know you'll never get to.
I am a man of extremes.
Extreme weight?
How dare you?
That's true.
No, I go from
Because I got the largest arms in the world. You see that, Joe? That's a vein. Something you don't have, you little fat bastard.
I don't know why I decided to play that drop at that exact moment.
What I meant was I've had bipolar tendencies. I've had
bisexual tendencies.
No. Hey, I made that joke about you last night when there was no recording on. Now you've taken my own joke and turned it against me, you son of a bitch.
It was funny when I said it.
No.
Go on.
What are we talking about? Oh, Raw.
Your bisexual tendencies.
No, I'm not bi. God damn it. I never even looked at another guy.
You're bi a lot of things, but polar ain't one of them.
Point being, I've had a tendency to fly off the handle in the past. That was what I was trying to say.
You know what I needed was that Kevin Nash drop when I made that line that DX had actually used many years ago.
Oh, LOL. We're laughing out loud.
Buy a lot of things. But what was the original line? I buy a lot of things.
Lingual
isn't one of them. Hunter wasn't there either tonight, kids. They pretty much opened the show with Sean coming out and just revealing everything. Hunter's the dad, and this show's a disaster tonight. It had to be rewritten. Everyone is running amok. He actually didn't do as good a job as Cena, who even more blatantly explained all of this later on. Cena's promo just was, Hunter's the father. This show's all fucked up. It's just turmoil backstage. All the gimmicks are wacky. All the characters are goofy. And I'm wrestling Ric Flair in the main event. That was literally his 4-minute promo. And it was great.
He also used the word ballyhoo.
Yes, he did use the word ballyhoo. It was great, but, yeah. Sean did the same thing to open up this show. And Coach came out. Coach was supposedly on the phone with Vince McMahon, which led to one of the funniest moments of the evening, which I'll get to in a moment. But Mr. McMahon on the phone supposedly signed Shawn Michaels versus Coach for later on. And Shawn Michaels initially was fantastic because he responded with a completely blank expression. And it was such fantastic comedy.
He looked blankly into Coach's eyes and then slowly did the slow burn, turning his head to look at the hard camera and give us at home a blank expression.
Yes, it was beautiful. And then he had to break down into exaggerated, wacky laughter for way too long, and it sort of killed the segment. But it was a fine opening deal. It was fun, so I got no problem with it.
It was stand-up comedy, which is fine when Shawn Michaels is doing it. So, yeah.
There's a perfect example right there. I couldn't shut you up 2 minutes ago, and now I got a sentence out of you. At least I knew when you were done talking this time.
Yeah.
That is, in fact, an improvement.
Perhaps by 2012 I'll be competent.
No, it's not going to be happening. I hate having those two awkward drops because I always hit the wrong one first.
You could erase one.
The Spirit Squad, faced the Highlanders for the WWE Tag Team titles. The Spirit Squad has gotten a stay of execution, and God knows with all the people out of action for drug-related offenses, they may have a lengthy stay of execution. For those of you keeping track, we've actually got a list on our board of everybody who has gone down to wellness, which will also be in tomorrow's newsletter here at f4wonline.com, available only for subscribers, $6.95 per month. But anyway, Highlanders.
The Highlanders, they've been supposedly pushed as the new bushwhackers, and yet, oddly, fans are not taking to them. They're not over.
Dude, they've been there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but they've already given up on it because Jim Ross actually used the word bushwhacker-like. He basically grabbed the fans by the lapels and said, they're supposed to be wacky. Cheer for them.
I see. That failed.
It failed. No one cared about this.
Spirit Squad won, by the way, so they're holding off the tag title win, which actually makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
And the deal is they were told they're going to break up. It's not necessarily going to happen this week. They will be breaking up. Of course, it also won't be happening 2 years down the road. I give them 3 weeks, basically. They may make it to SummerSlam, but we shall see. Foley was back in the WWE studios for another Jesus, help me. Almost vomited.
That would have been funny.
Pardon me. Where was I?
Foley.
Foley was cutting a promo in WWE Studio. I have not been drinking, everybody. I went back on the wagon today, and the wagon consisted of a number of protein shakes and a spicy chicken soft taco from Taco Bell. So I've nearly belched twice on this show, and thankfully I have not, because this expensive microphone would be shattered, as Vince can attest to. So maybe someday, kids. But Foley cut his wacky promo. It was the usual, good stuff. They're getting better and better, and it's all because of a thumbs up and a yeah.
You're out of my life, you washed up piece of crap. Yeah.
Yeah. And sure enough, this week, as I predicted last week, it's getting over. There was already a big sign with a giant thumbs up, which can only mean one thing, which is thumbs up. Yeah.
That is, in fact, what a thumbs up means.
I love these Foley promos now. I was not sold on them. I was not sold on them because they were passionate. He said all the right things, but as I've noted many times, it seemed like there was something missing. And I finally found out what there was that needed to fill that void.
You're out of my life, you washed up piece of crap. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what was missing.
They are getting better.
And now that yeah is there, I am completely, fully on the Foley bandwagon again.
I think Foley needs to cut promos on Ric Flair forever, and then eventually this feud will end, and then Mick Foley needs to cut promos on whatever is irritating him in life, rant about it for 2 minutes, and then go, yeah.
We need to drop, by the way, somebody can help me out, of just the yeah. Because right now we just got the whole deal.
You're out of my life, you washed up piece of crap. Yeah.
And granted, the whole thing is fantastic, but I do just need yeah. Even though I could probably just do it myself. But so then we had This Week in History, which was Ric Flair versus Terry Funk in 1989. I would just like to alert everybody that Flair was 40 when that match occurred. He was a 40-year-old man. And certain people said at the time that he was over the hill. This was in 89.
Well?
He then proceeded to have the biggest runs of his career afterwards. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a historic match because Ric Flair actually won clean. I believe this may be the only match I've ever seen in the history of Ric Flair's career that he actually won clean. So
it's on the short list.
that would be saying that. But so
I've
anyway,
seen him cheat to beat jobbers on Saturday night.
Flair came out live and was cutting a promo on Foley. Edge and Lita came out, which allowed Johnny Nitro to ambush Ric Flair. By the way, Foley will be on Raw Live next week to confront Ric Flair one-on-one. So anyway, it ended up with the match being signed for later on. Cena and Ric Flair for only the second time ever, Jim Ross said, which I guess does not count house shows, but they would be teaming up to face Johnny Nitro. Did you notice a dramatic pause right there?
Is that what that was? I thought you'd forgotten and were trying to remember who was in it.
No, Johnny Nitro and his partner in that match, Edge.
Yes.
You thought I was going to forget, didn't you?
No, I knew by then you knew.
I'd actually forgot until right before I said it. That's the truth. Carlito was hitting on Trish. He hit on her in Spanish, at which point she said, and I quote, "I don't speak Spanish." That was a burn. Only way I can describe that. He got humbled.
He got served.
He did get served. Served. In fact, he got a... I don't speak Spanish. That'd be the end of your dating career forever. Forever. Yeah. Where were we?
I have no idea.
Here was the best part of the show. Coach was having his meeting with the Goofs in the back, and he was on the phone with Vince when he signed this match. And they cut away, and immediately upon cutting away, out came Todd Grisham and said he just received word that Stephanie had given birth. And I thought, that's beautiful. Coach was just on the phone with Vince, and apparently Vince didn't care enough to tell him that his daughter had given birth. And
he had to say that for the important people like Todd Grisham.
Yes, immediately. That just made me laugh. I don't know why. Lillian's back. She introduced Shelton Benjamin versus Carlito. The ball's in your court. I left.
Brian left.
I am boycotting this feud.
It annoys me when Brian leaves because then I have to watch it. And they had a boring, lame, no heat match that somebody won. The turnbuckle pad came off. Shelton won. I forget how. Shelton won, and he gets. I think he gets a match with Johnny Nitro next week.
I need a favor, everybody on the board that's listening to this right now. I need somebody to compile a list of the number of times that Carlito and Shelton Benjamin have had a match in like the last 6 weeks. I swear to Christ, it's no less than like 8. I've seen this fucking match every week.
And it always blows.
It's on free TV, and it's on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It may have been on Saturday Night's Main Event for all I know. I've seen this match over and over. It was a 3-way. Over and over and over. I mean, why?
I don't know.
What is it that... are there only 3 men in the Intercontinental Division?
Yes. I forget who made this point on the board. There are 160 men under contract to this company, and 3 of them are fighting for the Intercontinental title.
Okay, I absolutely boycott this feud with these 3 men. And I'm a big fan of Johnny Nitro. I am not a big fan of Carlito, and Shelton has fallen off my list as well. So I will not watch this match next week. I will come in here and dink around on the board or something like that, and you will be covering the Intercontinental.
Why do I have to watch it? We can just fast forward through it. Save us both time.
No, because somebody has to report on it, and I called dibs on not watching it.
Fuck you. Get Craig to do it.
No, it's too late.
Call Tony.
Oh, you really want to call Tony?
Not right now.
Okay, well, then you're going to have to watch the match.
Call Tony.
We already watched this match.
Next week.
Just watch it next week, Vince.
You watch it next week.
You're just going to do me this one favor. I don't ask for much in my life. And you're... It's true. I'm going to keep you quiet for a little while. I'll just take over this show. I'll talk for a good 2 or 3 minutes here, and that'll save up for the 2 or 3 minutes that you'll spend next week watching Shelton Benjamin and Carlito. That's fair, isn't it? Or whoever the match is, Johnny Nitro. We don't have a webcam, so making those unacceptable hand gestures is not going to get you over with anybody. All I see is the word humbled. I don't know what it's in reference to. What happened next? I may need you here in a minute, actually. Hulk Hogan came out. And he got his long, wacky ovation, which Jim Ross ignored Lawler, but Lawler said it was the biggest ovation he'd ever witnessed. This is the man that's had God knows how many classic matches in front of God knows how many sold-out crowds, and has seen Hulk Hogan in God knows how many cities getting God knows how many bigger reactions. The biggest reaction he ever heard in his entire life. Randy Orton came out and, of course, interrupted, and they got to talking about young Brooke. And this promo was straight out of 1985, which surprised nobody because Hulk Hogan's in charge of the whole thing. The story is that Randy and Brooke had Google eyes at each other, and Brooke said he was so handsome, and he had such pretty eyes, and Hogan wasn't down with this brother, and he's going to humble him at SummerSlam. And they ended up getting in the ring. Hulk Hogan said, "I've got my gear on, let's do this right now." And Orton went down to the ring, and I typed, Orton teased getting into the ring and then bailed. And then I had to backspace, because he did not, in fact, bail. He kept going around the ring. He shoved Jerry Lawler because he bumped on the table and Lawler tried to protect him or something like that, but he shoved Lawler, so Lawler threw him into the ring. Hulk Hogan punched Randy Orton twice, set him up for the big boot, and that's when Orton bailed. They actually touched before SummerSlam. The only good thing I can say is at least Orton did not take the boot like Shawn Michaels did last year on the fucking final free show before SummerSlam. But still, this feud is ass backwards. It's completely ridiculous. And we've got 4 weeks of God knows what, and they've already started beating each other up. So, where do they go from here, Vince? I don't know. If I turn your volume up, you still couldn't speak because your microphone is attached to the thing right there. Your thoughts?
On Hogan and Orton?
Can you not be stupid?
No.
Your thoughts?
I agree with everything you said, and I don't think it's going to matter because people are going to pay money to see Hulk Hogan no matter what.
Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Vince.
We've heard that one in a while. I just felt
Thank you, Wales?
Thank you, Vince.
Oh.
Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Vince.
Iron Sheik, everybody. Where were we? Yeah, I just don't know. I will never be in favor of this Orton storyline because And I had Dave on the show last week, and without even thinking about it, he came up with a bunch of great ideas for the feud. Mm-hmm. And it's just like the Invasion. If we had call-ins right now, and people were calling into this show, every single person calling in would have 5 times a better idea than what they actually did, minimum. Some people's idea would be 100 times better than what they actually did. But instead, we've got to see just... And it amazes me because Hogan isn't stupid, but this is just stupid.
Well, he's not stupid, but he's got a weakness for feeding his own ego. And
perhaps his eagle. He has a number of animals.
He may have an eagle to go alongside his cock.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but he does not want to look bad at any point. In his mind, he already took the RKO on the car.
Yeah, but he's smart enough to understand that he should be selling.
You'd think so. You'd think he'd done the formula so many times and made so much goddamn money that he'd know how it works, but... it was like in the famous scene in WCW where he fought off the 4 Horsemen by himself.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's sometimes he just gets out of control and forgets how to make money.
I'm very down on the whole Orton thing, but there's still time. Perhaps they'll do something of value. Just the fact that we're never going to see Brooke and Orton on a date, to me, that ruins the whole thing. I mean, that was just... It would have been so perfect. There was so much wackiness. A blind date with the blind date TV show where both people are just such idiots.
Yes.
Randy Orton and Brooke doing that whole thing and Hogan following him. They could have done the fucking thing he did in the show.
That's right.
Hogan sets up the GPS in the car and follows him, and he finds out they end up at the Lover's Point or something like that, overlooking the ocean. And fucking Orton throws him off the cliff or something. There's a million things they could have done. But no.
I have this image of Hulk Hogan falling off a cliff. Oh no, brother!
No, I just picture Orton throwing him, and you just see Hogan tumble off the side of a cliff or something like that, and everybody freaks out at Raw. And then of course later they cut to a different angle. Or Hogan could come to the building wet.
Yes,
just like
the Giant.
Just like I almost called him Andre. Just like the Big Show did way back in the day when he was pushed off the top of Cobo Hall.
Maybe Randy and Hulk could have a monster truck battle.
They could have sent Brian Knobbs after them to scope out this date. Nasty Nick could have got involved. There was so much stuff they could have done, and they just fucked it all up.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
This is actually getting to Invasion levels of annoyance for me. I mean, I'm trying to think of another angle that had so much potential that got squandered. People are going to say, well, what about the Angle, Stephanie, Kurt love triangle? Or Hunter, Kurt, Stephanie love... No, because they actually did everything right. They just didn't give us the payoff. This is one where they haven't done anything right, and there was so much stuff they could have done right.
I have a potential answer for a bigger wasted angle. Eric Bischoff comes out on Raw and hugs Vince.
Yes.
Aha!
Well, all right, fine. What are we on now? When you're right, it grates on me.
It disrupts your entire worldview.
It does. Because
everything you know is wrong.
Because I don't think that it's possible for such a thing to happen. And every now and then I realize that sometimes it is.
I do, in fact, have a functional brain.
You have a brain. It's usually not functional. HBK versus Couch. Spirit Squad ran in, and then Umaga beat up Shawn. Nothing to it.
Does anyone care about Umaga, really?
Yeah, after last week I do.
We talked about last week, he beat Cena, and they bought it then. But...
I don't care about him a lot, but I was fine when he ran in because he's going to have a good match with Shawn.
Well, of course he is at Shawn Michaels, but I guess I got to do something. We can't see DX versus Spirit Squad forever, but I don't care about Umaga.
Maurice was eliminated in the Diva Search. Not much else to say about it, except that on SmackDown it will be Diva musical chairs. I wrote magical chairs, which actually I think would be more fun. I don't know what that means, but uh-oh. Hate that when that happens.
What just happened?
When I try and do something and the whole document vanishes, that's usually a bad thing since the entire newsletter's right there. Thankfully, there's an undo button.
Thank God for the undo button.
But I want everybody... I guess I shouldn't make this statement because I'm asking people to do something illegal, but you know what would be neat? If on YouTube, Ric Flair doing magical chairs or musical chairs on Raw showed up.
I suspect someone may have already done this kind of thing.
That was one of the great Raw moments of all time. They played musical chairs. The only people I remember being there are, I believe, Flair, Trish, and Jericho. I know Flair and Jericho were there, and I know Flair pulled the chair out and sabotaged one of the girls. It may have been Trish. May have been Lita.
It was Stacy.
Stacy. Oh, Stacy.
I just watched this not that long ago.
It was Stacy.
It was Stacy, Jericho, Tyson Tomko, Flair, and Coach. I think that's it. Oh, and Tajiri.
Seriously, one of the best, funniest segments ever on Raw. Flair worked musical chairs.
And he made it funny.
And he made it great. This is why every time I read a thread about why does Ric Flair suck, what do people see in Ric Flair, I just immediately it's just like troll. That's it. That's the only answer. Because nobody could actually think that and have a clue about wrestling. And I can only imagine the thread that's going to be spawned off that statement that I just made. But for a man who's 57 years old, has had literally thousands of matches, taken 3 times that many backdrops, because he takes about 3 per match, this man is just amazing still at his age. And if you can't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Must suck to live a life of misery, and God knows what entertains you, but seriously, that's what I think when I see those, is just troll. And I cackle, and I laugh, and I don't bother reading the thread. So, if trying to get my dander up, you're going to have to do a little better than that, which is going to bring us to our shout-outs pretty soon. Monster heel, shitty heel. I wanted to throw that out there.
Any other board members you'd like to insult right now?
I'm not insulting anybody in particular. Monster
You
heel.
just insulted Monster Heel.
He doesn't
in
count.
particular.
He doesn't count.
Oh, you don't care about his feelings now?
No, if he's a heel, then I'll fucking heel on him. If he wants to have a battle of the heels.
I see.
Don't try and out-heel Super Chico. I'll shut the whole goddamn board down. Then we'll see who's a heel. Cost myself massive business, but goddamn it, I'll prove a point. Flair and Cena versus Edge and Nitro was the main event, and it was a fine little battle. Short. It was heavily edited for television, much like the CMLL match.
Really now?
Well, it was. They went to commercial break, dick. But anyway, they had a match. It was fun. Flair was great. Every now and then, he's just great doing nothing. And this was one of those nights.
I don't think he did anything tonight except chops.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to.
No, he should not have. I'm not criticizing him. I'm praising him.
Everybody, there's this, and people will deny that it's all about moves. In the same breath as they speak out about Flair only doing chops and selling, Flair almost single-handedly made that ECW brand in that match with Big Show merely by selling. He just sold so great that he put the whole brand and Big Show over. Wrestling is an art, and Ric Flair has mastered that art, and it amazes me that some people don't see that. They're just trolls. I just keep going back to that since that's the only thing it's the only logical explanation that I have, because I cannot bring myself to think that people actually believe this.
Well, they don't. No one can. No one can say Ric Flair is not fun to watch.
Oh, they will. Just you wait. We're going to get the big thread now.
Well,
it's going to be 40 pages long, and it's going to be bickering back and forth, and I just want you all to know right now, I'm not going to read it.
This match was so much fun. It was, as soon as these guys came out there, the whole crowd woke up. It was like, okay, we politely sat through the prior 2 hours of crap to see what we really wanted to see, which is Cena, Edge, Ric Flair, and because he's out here, Johnny Nitro.
Yeah.
It was the difference between this show and everything before this. I mean, this match, the match itself was nothing special, but the atmosphere was like something straight out of the Monday Night Wars. It was a big deal.
It was great.
It was cool.
They gave the fans exactly what they wanted. Nitro submitted to the STFU. The place just went absolutely haywire, and it was great.
It was great. A hearty thumbs up for this little segment. Raw got off to a bad start.
We need strippers and fucked up girls. That says strippers and more song.
It's not much of a song then, is it?
Where's the song part? We need strippers and fucked up girls. That's the worst song I've ever
No melody,
heard.
no rhythm.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
All right. Raw, yes, opened up with wackiness. It first, Shane and Vince came out, and they got in the ring, and then suddenly lying at their feet was Shawn Michaels. And Ross was going crazy about how he'd left he'd been left laying, and then the show ended. And I thought,
could have sworn I just said all this.
I'm recapping exactly what happened.
All right.
So I thought Raw just flew by. I was happy. Then a movie started, and the screen went blank. And then, as mentioned, back in the ring, there was Shawn Michaels talking about Stephanie giving birth. And then Coach came out to give him a message, and the message was apparently a singing telegram, because then in the ring again were Vince and Shane, and Shawn and Hunter were on the ramp, and they proceeded to do wacky comedy. And it was, at least DX they're not as juvenile anymore. They're just dorks.
That is the best way to put it. They're not raunchy. They're not disgusting. They're just goofs. And thank God Shawn Michaels is there, because he is a great goof when he wants to be.
Sure. They're goofs, and everyone hates Vince and Shane so much that they don't turn on DX. If DX were doing this stuff to, like, Rock and Austin, if Rock and Austin were supposed to be the heels, that would turn quickly.
If they were doing this with the Spirit Squad.
No.
Bad example.
But it sort of works, and they're very heavily teasing that Hunter is the father of Steph's baby, but they just won't come right out and say it. So it may just always be an inside joke. At first,
I think when they put the picture up of the baby and it had Hunter's head, at that point it crossed the line between inside joke and declaration.
Well, I always, when they first started doing stuff like this, I thought eventually it's going to come out, they will be a couple on TV, everybody will know, and blah, blah, blah. Now I've just decided, no, it's just always going to be an in-joke that everybody knows, so it ain't that in. But nothing will ever come of it.
That's probably true. They will never acknowledge that, they could just say that Hunter knocked up Vince's daughter in an attempt to take over the company and use it as a storyline, but it'll just be an in-joke.
I like the pause right there. By the way, you are in the same boat as Michelle McCool, who did the same goddamn thing.
Yeah.
When I don't even remember the other guy's name.
Nigel something.
Nigel totally gave her the office and said her name.
Yeah, he mentioned her by name. Said, "That was a great match, Michelle."
And he was met with utter silence.
There's about 8 seconds of silence, and they went to commercial. Now I will say this: I suck at this.
And Michelle McCool doesn't.
No, but
I want you to also consider that you have been doing this for 1 year, and Michelle was probably doing it for the first time.
Yeah, but Michelle was trying. I am still not trying at this.
Why don't you try sometimes?
No, that would ruin the show.
Can't you try to at least not have moments of awkward silence? Because I can't get my finger on the button fast enough. Johnny Nitro, Carlito, and Shelton for the IC title. By the way, throughout the show, they asked the Divas who should be sent home, and they had no faith in these women. They gave them about 8 seconds, and the only one who didn't pick a name was Rebecca. I want y'all to remember that. But Jen was the first, and she said JT should go home because a real diva didn't copy anyone at all and had her own original ideas. And, quote, I am often imitated but never duplicated. I have no idea what that has to do with JT, but that was her statement. She went first. Then we have the three-way, and I purposely avoided at least 3/4 of this match. So, Vince, it's up to you.
Carlito had another bad night, but the sellout crowd in New Jersey was very forgiving, and because of the crowd, this was watchable. What happened? Nitro won. He's still the champion, so which means we probably get another rematch next week.
No. This feud needs to end. They need to get new men into the IC division. Nitro grabbed the tights when it was one of those three-ways, so the deal was that Shelton almost had the win, but Melina screwed him out of it because she didn't want her man to lose the belt without getting pinned, and Nitro ended up rolling, ran Carlito into Shelton and rolled him up, grabbed the tights for the pin, and I was happy just because this hopefully will be over. Layla said Melina should be eliminated because she could talk the talk, but when it really came down to it, she couldn't walk the walk. I don't know what that means.
I have no idea what the hell she's talking about.
But she was also buzzed. They announced John Cena versus Matt Striker for later, which was inexplicable to me. They
should have just said John Cena in action.
Well, yeah, they needed to. Was it really that hard to just? I don't know. That was just weird. I'm not saying they should have shot some sort of angle. But, I don't know. No one
across America was sitting at home going, oh boy, I can't wait to see John Cena wrestle Matt Striker.
It was going to be, I don't know what they could have done. They should have just gave him someone, I don't really have an answer. This just wasn't right. It was just, I saw it and I was like, that's wrong.
I agree.
And
I say it should have just said John Cena in action next.
he squashed him and everything like that, but I don't know. Maybe they should have done an angle. But then we would have had to see Matt Stryker do a stupid classroom, which I can do without.
Yeah.
Oh, they did have an angle, actually. When Cena got his head rammed through the chalkboard.
Yep.
So why couldn't they have just played that and then said the match was tonight?
I don't know.
Because they had to have more time for these fucking divas to say who should be eliminated?
Sure.
Now I'm mad. I'm starting to sweat. I don't know why that happens sometimes. So anyway, Orton came out for Orton Knows Best, which was dumb. They had a fake Nick, fake Hogan, fake Linda, fake Hulk Hogan. The fake Nick was Larry Sweeney, of all people. And Larry Sweeney is a very charismatic man.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't show much of that here.
Well, no.
He was less charismatic than the real Nick.
That actually is true.
But it's not his fault. They gave him a wacky hair.
They gave him one line, and then he was dumped out.
They gave him a wacky hairstyle and did his hair in a wacky hairstyle, as I just said. And he was quickly eliminated. But basically, Orton hit on the fake Brooke. He beat up the fake Hulk. He beat up the fake Nick. Blah, blah, blah. Should have been better. There were a lot of different ideas. I'm still, as always, down on this segment. At least they tried something this week.
Yeah.
In execution, it was not that great, just because Randy Orton is a boring fucking man. And maybe somebody else could have done something with this. He was just boring. And the biggest mistake in this whole thing to me, I don't know, Hogan's got full creative control. So I don't know if he did the casting, but whoever they got for the fake Brooke was way hotter than the real Brooke.
She actually looked more like Stacy Keibler than Brooke Hogan.
When I saw this woman come out, I thought, my God, whoever put this together was a fucking idiot. Can't you get a less attractive girl than the real deal? The whole idea is you want, Brooke's supposed to be the hot girl here. And you bring out a fake Brooke and she's a 10. It's just, I don't know. That was a dumb move.
Yeah, it didn't really work.
So, I just watched it and thought, just leave with her.
Screw the whole Hogan family thing?
Yeah.
Take the fake Brooke?
What do you want the real Brooke for? You got a winner here.
I don't know.
And you have to deal with the crazy old man, and I don't know. This is just not working for me.
No. I've seen many worse segments. I watched this.
It wasn't horrible.
It was a thumbs in the middle segment.
Yeah, it was just something.
I watched it, went through, it was over, and that was that.
Yeah, I don't know. And before he left, here's what tells you this was not a good segment. After he left, he punched Lawler, because Lawler, of course, threw him into the ring last week when Hulk beat him up.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
And Lawler ended up cutting a promo on him, saying next week in Memphis, it's his hometown, he wanted to take on Orton and beat his ass. And Lawler was just fucking great here. And for those of you that don't watch Ohio Valley, we used to watch Ohio Valley all the time, and every year or so, some Six Flags show would be coming up, and Jerry Lawler was going to be a part of it. And they do a localized interview with Jerry Lawler, just being the old Memphis Jerry Lawler and just cutting a promo saying he was going to kick some dude's ass. And they were always so awesome.
I have often said I don't like Jerry Lawler, which is not entirely true. It's the short version of saying I don't like the character Jerry Lawler plays on Raw.
You know what's funny?
But 2 or 3 times a year, we just get to see him play Jerry Lawler, and it's awesome.
You know what's funny? You hate Jerry Lawler because Jerry Lawler on Raw is you on this show.
Kinda.
He just goes out there. He doesn't give a shit.
No, he has the same. I hate Jerry Lawler because he's always doing the high-pitched squeal, and he's squealing about puppies.
Well, he does have a shtick, that's true.
Yeah, I hate his shtick. Although, on that subject, did you notice how distracted JR was all night?
No.
Bringing up references to... He threw in a Sooner reference about Shawn Michaels, and he was talking about the band that originally did the Na Na Hey Hey Goodbye song. And something else. He was just talking about movies and sports and music.
You figure that meant he was distracted?
It was a non-JR thing. If it was one or two, I would have let it go, but it was just all night he was talking about other stuff. Like he was trying to change the subject from the show he was watching.
I did not notice such a thing. I did notice there were a couple of JR lines that I laughed at.
He was
Just completely out of nowhere. He was in rare form tonight.
yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention to the non-wrestling stuff, but I thought it was fine.
I'm not knocking him. I'm just curious. It was weird.
You're very hard on JR as well for some reason.
I have been before. we discussed this. You want to discuss it again?
I want to hear this.
You like JR because he sells the shows a lot. He sells pay-per-views and he sells the stories. And I like a play-by-play guy who calls it like a sport. Like I like Joey Styles because he calls holds.
Yeah, but Ross calls holds.
Sometimes. Sometimes he just talks about heart and determination and grit and stone cold, and
this bothers you.
it gets old.
I'll take your word for it. I strongly disagree.
That's fine. You're allowed to disagree.
I want to get into a tirade here, but I can't think of one, so you lucked out tonight. I just wanted to go off
What
on
the
you.
hell does that mean?
I just felt like going off on you for absolutely no good reason. At least I admit it.
This is why I have meltdowns.
Why?
Because I had people going through tirades on me for literally admitted no good reason.
Well, there is a good reason, because I strongly disagree with what you have to say, but...
why?
yeah.
Because I disagree with you, do you have to go off on a tirade?
I don't necessarily have to go off on a tirade. I didn't. That's the whole point. I could have, and I didn't.
And why do you want to?
Because I disagree.
Okay. Let's not do Friday again.
Let's not what?
Let's not do Friday again.
I disagree that I disagree with your opinion, basically.
I know.
And
That's fine.
I have no facts to back up my own opinion. I just feel that in some way I should disagree.
Down with the hoodlums.
JR is not, in fact, down with the hoodlums.
I'm just going to move on now, because I don't know what's... I'll even say what's wrong with me. I start to sweat when you have some opinion that I find absurd.
Well, maybe you should...
That's perfectly normal, isn't it?
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I'm just gonna let you move on here before I just blow some sort of gasket. Alejandro was in Vince's office. Go ahead.
Well, that brings up another one. I know you want to change subject. There was a point here where JR forgot Alejandro's name, and he says, "And there's Alejandro."
No, he said
Smith.
No, he said Alejandro Estrada Smith. So he forgot one.
He forgot the guy's name.
That was great.
Well, it was funny. I'm not saying it wasn't funny. I'm just. That was another example of him being distracted. But anyway.
Well, no, you can't fault him for that. The man's got 3 names, for Christ's sake. And in the heat of the moment, he just... I've forgotten 20 times the number of names JR has forgotten in his life.
Okay.
I'm shocked Miz hasn't forgotten any of the fucking women's names yet.
I'm sure he has.
He hasn't on the air.
I bet he has. He's got them written on his wrist or something.
See, that's why JR's so good. Because the one time JR actually forgets Alejandro's name and throws out Smith, it's like a wall of bricks hitting you. Whereas Miz fucks up every week, so half the time you don't notice it unless he totally has to look at his wrist.
I will agree with you. JR is better than Miz.
He is.
We've established that. Okay. So Vince and Shane were having a meeting about Christ knows what when Alejandro walked in.
He's much better than Miz.
He is. He's many, many, many levels better than Mike Mizanin.
Well, at least you'll admit that, you dick.
I totally agree. Don't call me a fucking dick.
Go on. I want to hear about Alejandro.
I don't remember the fucking meeting now. The McMahons were having a meeting, and Alejandro walked in.
This meeting is a very integral part of the show.
I forget what happened, but the long run is they wanted more Cuban cigars. He gave them Cuban cigars. Oh, to congratulations for the child, yes. So he said, here, congratulations on the birth of your niece and your grandchild. Have some cigars. And they said, hey, do you have any more? And he said, I've got 3 boxes of Cuban cigars. I'll go get them. And that was the end of this skit.
My danner's up, and I've got a rant about something.
Go for it.
But luckily, this has nothing to do with you. The fact that fucking Cuban cigars are a controlled substance is just absurd. Just utterly absurd. I don't care about any fucking embargo, any fucking missile crisis in 1963. It's just absurd. That's the big punishment we're not going to import any more of your cigars.
Well, to be fair, we're not importing anything. It's just the cigars are the only thing they have we want.
It's just bullshit.
And their food. They have good food.
All the fucking shit we got to worry about in this world, and fucking Cuban cigars are like a major issue.
People have a very strong grudge against Fidel Castro.
But this is just, to me, it's just stupid.
I'm not saying it's not stupid.
You can have all the grudges you want. You can do whatever you want. And I'm not even a smoker. But if I were a smoker, I would really be blowing up right now. We're not going to import any of your cigars. So who suffers? All the fucking smokers in this country. Not Fidel Castro. He don't give a shit. I guarantee Fidel Castro has not sat up one night worrying that we don't import his fucking cigars. And there are plenty of smokers that are probably, God damn, I could use a good Cuban cigar right now, but I can't. We won't import them. That's retarded.
I like that you're now taking up a stand for the smokers of America.
I am. It's freedom that's being taken from them because of an incident long, long ago. Has anything happened in the last 20 years that has caused us to keep this embargo going?
Elian Gonzalez.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, just ridiculous. Here's a Mexican sticking up for the Cubans. That's the Puerto Ricans I shouldn't be sticking up for. There's a big thread on the board about some...
They all don't like each other.
I like everybody. I even like the smokers. Just don't smoke your Cuban cigars in Club Chico. That's not allowed. Anyway, so I feel Hunter's pain. That was bullshit.
We haven't gotten to the Hunter part yet.
He could have had Percocet in his fucking bag and they would have been fine with that. But the Cuban cigars, oh no. Elevated liver enzymes, you're out. Cuban cigars, big trouble. Tatanka's already back.
Wow. Was he gone?
Bobby fucking Lashley's already back.
I knew that.
But Hunter's going to be locked up for 8 years for his Cuban cigars. The priorities are absurd. Anyway, what are you talking about here?
Raw.
Couldn't we allow Cuban cigars to come into this country and tax them and use that tax for education or something like that, or feeding the poor?
I don't have an answer for you, Brian.
What are we talking about here? Trish and I don't even know where we were. Trish and Candice, or Trish was the Trish and Candice faced Mickey and Victoria. Pulling a JR here, Vince. Tori was the referee. And shitty match. Candice is getting a little bit better, but still sucks. And Mickey, I believe, fucked up the Stratisfaction and looked stupid. And somebody wants Trish to just quit. It's the only thing I can think.
This
here.
was clusterific, and I also like that Candice is now a good girl now. Inexplicably. She and Trish are just friends.
Sure. And you can support, by the way, the eating disorder of Tori Wilson by purchasing the magazine tomorrow that is out on newsstands, the new FHM, which she's on the cover of. So there you go, kids. Eminem and Melina met with Foley backstage. He said he was going to go out, and he wanted Melina to introduce him, which he did. He ran down Ric Flair, said he had a huge announcement to make. Him and Flair were going to be in that very ring tonight as a tag team, taking on the World Tag Team Champions, which never happened, by the way.
Well, he laughed about it and said, no, I'm just joking.
I see. But speaking of politics, he dropped a George Bush reference, and the people booed. Dropped a Christy Canyon reference. Everybody cheered. And anyway, Flair came out, and at that point, this became one of the great segments of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I've been down on the Mick Foley Flair thing for a long time now. I thought their promos were always good, but missing that special something that made you actually want to see the match. I thought that their match sucked, made it so you totally didn't want to see them have a match ever again. And then all of Foley's promos, aside from the were just like, they were great, but again, I really didn't give a shit about seeing them wrestle.
You're out of my life, you washed up piece of crap. Yeah.
And then they came out this week, and this week, I gave a big tirade last week about Ric Flair, which led to a thread in which nobody bothered to try and give a rational reason as to why Ric Flair was no good, which amused me. I actually thought we'd have a huge thread on it. Instead, it was just trolls, and it was only like 2 of them, and they did a poor job. Shitty trolls.
You really thought people would have a coherent argument for why Ric Flair's bad?
I thought a couple people would try. I really did. Because I've seen it before. I guess actually those people have since quit the websites. So,
yeah, there's that.
Of which, like Fidel Castro, I shed no tears at night. So anyway, I thought I'd get a thread, but I didn't. But now I wish I could just, I wish I had that rampage, or that rant I gave last week on tapes, and I just played again. Flair.
That's... To say that about 14 times in a row.
Ric fucking Flair came out tonight and just was great.
He went to town.
He cut the greatest promo. And it's not all Ric Flair, because the look on Foley's face through the majority of this was fantastic. And at the end, Foley, when he touched the nerve by talking about how he didn't have the guts like Flair did to call his children and say that Daddy was being locked up or whatever, that was great. But just Ric Flair was in his element. It was like all those promos that Ric Flair never got to cut. All those times he's been just stopped from speaking on Raw, just prevented, just not allowed to cut promos on Raw. He cut them all tonight.
Yes, it was
just unbelievable promo.
All the pent-up greatness released in one explosion.
That a couple of weeks ago I said Foley cut a fantastic promo, but I would never watch it again. I will watch this Flair promo about 40 times, over and over and over and over and over again. It was so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was over, it was like, I cannot wait for SummerSlam. These guys are going to have a great match. God knows they may really beat the shit out of each other. And I am excited.
Yay.
I am excited for this match.
Yes.
Ric Flair just was the man to end all men tonight. A gigantic 10 thumbs up.
Yes, this was awesome. Ric Flair was awesome. Mick Foley was also awesome, particularly in the fact that he was, even though he was fighting back and he was making some good points, he was still a cowardly heel at the same time.
He was very cowardly.
He was walking a very fine line between being defiant and cowardly, and it was perfect.
Yes.
So yes, the best segment of the whole show, the best segment of the whole night.
There was a moment that was so great. This is the moment that made this segment just seriously one of the best segments of all time. Foley is sitting there, and he's ranting and raving about Flair, and he said the last person he would take family tips from was a man who'd been married 3 times and was an absentee father twice. And all Flair did was drop his mic and just get inches from Foley's face, and Foley immediately started backing up.
Yep.
He immediately started apologizing, and they got me.
They worked you.
They actually, because for a brief second there I thought, I wonder if they made an agreement to just go out and shoot, and Foley actually said something that really pissed Flair off. Because Flair was so awesome, you really believe that he may actually punch this man right in the face. And Foley had this look on his face like, oh shit.
He's going to punch me right in the face.
Ric Flair might actually punch me in the face on national TV. And he was backtracking. And it was so perfect. And the backtrack was, he basically backtracked into another major insult, and Flair punched him right in the face. And Foley dropped and bailed. Coach came out and signed the match, and Foley was like, fuck you. I wrestle when I want. I've got this contract. I don't do any matches I don't want to do, and there's no way with the amount of matches I have left in my body that I'm wasting one on this washed-up piece of shit.
You're out of my life, you washed-up piece of crap. Yeah.
And he bailed, and it wasn't like your usual heel bailing. This was like a guy who really was pissed and embarrassed and ready to cry and was just like, fuck off, I'm leaving and I'm never coming back. And it was just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
This was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, I've decided.
And Ric Flair was left to stand there and slowly walk to the back saying, God damn it, I want to fight this fucker.
Yes, it was so great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough great things to say about this.
I forgive them for the past 2 months of mediocre feuding.
I forgive everybody.
For everything.
Sure, including you for whatever I was going to scream at you for earlier this evening. Cena faced Matt Striker in a shitty match. Well, it was just a match.
No, it was a squash.
Yeah, it was a
He
squash.
beat him in a minute.
Edge was up there in the rated R booth, and basically they've got a match at SummerSlam, and these poor fuckers had to follow Ric Flair and Mick Foley, and boy.
They had to follow Ric Flair and Mick Foley, and they had to not overshadow the real main event of DX.
Well, no, just the they had to go out there and try and build up their world title match at the pay-per-view, and you couldn't possibly give a shit after the previous segment.
Yeah, and then
this was just a goofy pro wrestling angle to build to a fake pro wrestling match.
Yeah.
It was just everybody go back and watch the Flair Foley thing again, and then watch the Cena Edge thing again, and you will see two different aspects of this business.
You know, in hindsight, maybe it's best they only gave Edge and Cena 2 minutes. Because any longer that would have just been silly.
No, they shouldn't have even done this on this show.
Yeah.
They absolutely should not have done this because they followed those guys and just came off like just two indie goofs. Just two indie dorks having to follow Ric Flair and Mick Foley. Johnny faced Rory of the Highlanders in a boring match. Nobody gave him a chance. They're both doomed. And, it was a developmental match with no heat.
They did Wacky Spirits World Comedy that did not work, and then it was just a bad match.
Diva Search time. Rebecca DiPietro was eliminated.
I'm stunned.
I actually got a text message earlier in the evening, which spoiled it for me, and I was flabbergasted. What the fuck? But you know what? JT Titty may be the favorite now.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because tonight, at the end, after Rebecca left and they all kind of dancing, looked like she was talking to one particular person in the front row, just kind of giggling and laughing. And it was. I saw what you said, where she always seems nervous and uncomfortable and no stage presence.
No. But when she was doing her promo and afterwards, there's a strange sort of sweetness about her that I actually buy. Like the other girls are they come across as just. They're saying what needs to be said. She just seems like a real person who's she's doing this. She really wants to win, but she doesn't get it. She doesn't understand how to win. And maybe people will, identify with her. The Hardys were super popular because they were just dorks, like all the other, just like everybody. They were two backyarders that got in the ring.
I think I'm favoring Jen.
No.
Jen's my pick at this point.
Jen's next. It's either... I actually thought that the dumbest of them all, I don't even know her name.
Erica.
Oh, Jesus, poor girl. I thought she'd be eliminated weeks ago. And the fact that she's still around, it means to me it's going to be JT Titty and that girl as the last two. The dancer just doesn't have the look, and she's bordering on annoying. Now, granted, Christy Hemme was the most annoying woman in the world in one, but either Jen or the dancer are next.
Who's left? Jen, the dancer, JT. Oh, Milena.
Yeah,
she's around too.
I think it'll be down to Milena and the dumb one and JT Titty. Those will be the final three. Jen ain't gonna make it. What's Jen have? Nothing. She's just she's a generic blonde with slightly more personality than the other generic blondes. But the stupid one's hotter. And
I disagree.
And her breasts were sticking out much farther tonight.
But she just had that going for her.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, your taste in women has always been skewed.
We disagree on women a lot.
Yes. So, and you did not possibly. Everybody knows that Christy Hemme should not have beaten Carmella. I just want to throw that out here right now.
Here we go again.
I won't even argue. I just want to poll up. Who was hotter, Christy Hemme or Carmella?
Key question. Who is hotter now, or who was hotter at the time?
At the time.
Okay, I probably would agree with you then.
Okay, well, at least we agree on that.
She didn't get super hot until actually right before she was cut by WWE.
I don't know if it was so much that or just the fact that we hated her. It's weird because there was a resentment about Christy Hemme for a long time from all the wrestlers because she was just a girl coming in at $250,000, and I don't know. I had a similar sort of resentment, but it wasn't for that reason. I mean, she won the contest.
She was a particularly annoying person.
She was annoying, and
she made her butt eat pie.
Please don't remind me of that. There was just something about her winning and coming in, and I don't know. It took a while for her to grow on me, and eventually she grew on me with a vengeance. I will admit.
I remember the exact moment where I thought to myself, "Wow, she's really hot."
Ohio Valley.
No, it was even before then. I think it was before then. But she came out and she was with the LOD and she was wearing leather chaps. And that did it for me.
Jesus. Yeah, she was really hot in Ohio Valley.
She was
which
really
was actually her last appearance, I think.
Yeah, so this would have been after the LOD thing.
It's about, it may have been where I turned the corner on the young lady, but JT Titty, she will win. That is my prediction here.
All right.
And I'm fine with that, actually. So then we had Hunter getting arrested for his...
They planted the Cuban cigars in his bag.
It's a high crime.
And 6 of the lamest police officers and FBI agents walked in to confiscate him and take him away.
I've not heard, and I'm sure we would have heard by now, but when the angle this morning, which I don't even think they played up on
No,
Raw.
they never talked about the giant DX on Titan Towers.
Well, we can't say that because we fast forward through much of the entrance and stuff like that, and we missed part of the beginning of the show.
Okay, it may have been there. You would have thought it would have been a bigger deal than just play the opening and then forget it.
Well, they could have come out with that graphic on the screen or something. We missed 10 minutes of the opening of the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is they spray painted the Titan Towers, and WWE.com made this comment about how federal agents were investigating. And sometime during the day, they changed it to Cuban cigars. Probably because they had a shitty Photoshop on WWE.com and realized they couldn't actually get a live shot of Titan Towers with the fucking giant DX on it. But
I see.
Regardless, they used the suspension, the drug thing, the federal whatever officers. And immediately, I mean, without thinking of anything else, I was like, Hunter failed a test. He had to have failed some sort of test, and this is how they're getting him off TV. I don't know if it's the case. I think we would have heard by now. I also think that if anybody did fail a test and it was Triple H, they would try and cover that one up, or at least keep it quiet to the best of their abilities. They would have everybody going, no, he's just taken off 2 weeks to be with the kid or something like that, or he wants to spend 30 days with the child, something of that nature. But that was my first thought. And we shall see, but...
Well, they did say he'd be back next week.
Yeah, but, you know...
If
he has elevated liver enzymes, he can be on TV. He just can't be in the ring.
I see.
And there are 30 days or so till SummerSlam.
Yeah.
A little less than 30 days, so... Anyway, HBK faced Umaga in a fine little match. Nothing spectacular. It wasn't Shawn and Yokozuna, but it was fine.
It was Shawn Michaels and a big, scary guy, and so, of course, it was good stuff.
And the people believed it, and... basically, Vince was out there, Shane was out there, bunch of wacky hijinks ensued. Shawn ended up doing the kip up right into the thumb of doom and was pinned. And the crowd was shocked, but they bought it, so that was good stuff. Shawn has certainly turned the corner from the days when the big secret in this business was don't do jobs. So anyway, that was that, and they beat him up afterwards, left him laying, that whole thing. Shane gave him the stiffest fucking super kick to the head ever with a chair, and that was that. So it was a fine little show, nothing spectacular or anything of that nature, but it was fine.
That's about it.
Say more.
Okay, thumbs up.